Hello,
Are we there?
we're here.
I wasn't even fucking done arranging shit, man. Hold on, you're seeing backstage, kids. I gotta pull up
Hello.
the YouTube of it all so that I can keep up with the chat. All right, there we are. And we're here. Uh hey everybody, welcome to another Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Mark Bernard.
Hey!
Oh,
This ain't an ad or anything, but I just ordered a fucking shake from Plant Power.
yeah.
They use vanilla Oatly as the base and they put peanut butter in it.
Mm.
I'm fucking charged, son. I'm so peanut buttered up, man. It was like a peanut butter smoothie. It was amazing.
Outstanding. I expect you will buy stock in the company in any minute.
What do you think I'm fucking fumbling around online before we start talking? Hey everybody, here we are, man. Here to fucking answer all your questions in a super chat. No, here we are to talk about all things geeky and freaky of the wiki. I'm your host, Kevin Smith.
The other guy, where am I?
There he is. The other guy,
Yeah,
I saw you on the no, other way. I
there it
saw
is.
that guy. I saw you online out there fighting the good fight on behalf of the writers yet again. How often do you go to the strikes?
I'm an every other day kind of fella. Depending on the week, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This week it's Tuesday, Thursday. So I'll be back out there tomorrow. Not sure where yet. Um, I haven't done much on your side of the world over the hill. So maybe I'll go visit like Netflix
I
or
passed where did I pass? Place where they do what you call it? It's on Beverly.
it's at Television City.
Yeah, yeah, that place.
Mm-hmm.
I saw people out there yesterday. I drove by and I fucking laid on the horn. What I love about the strike is you can fucking act all Jersey and just fucking lay on the horn and nobody says shit. In fact, it's a good thing. They all fucking they're happy and stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've been doing my part. Been walking the beat.
I have not. Last time I walked the beat was with you. I've been
Mm,
away for 10 days. I just got home on Monday morning. I went back east and I did some Smodcastle shows.
mm.
I had what did I do? The we showed Jaws, we showed Red State, then we showed Jersey Girl, and Raquel Castro came out, who is now about 1 year younger than Ben was when we made Jersey Girl. So the little Jersey Girl from the poster standing opposite Ben like this is now almost Ben's age when we made Jersey Girl. Time, Mark, it won't be stopped. Um, what else did I do? Then I went to Florida and my mom got out of the hospital for the first time in 10 fucking weeks.
Amazing.
10 weeks later, 3 hospitals later, mom is alive and well, thank the Lord, because there was a moment there where it looked like, well, they literally told us, they're like, you may need to look into hospice care. And I was like, she's already in a hospice. And my brother's like, she's in a hospital, you fucking idiot. Hospice is something different. And when they explained it to me, of course, I was like, what the? Um, but man, she fucking recovered and thank the Lord for that. So she home now with her cat. She was, she has this cat, Princess, 20 years. She got it after my dad died. And the whole time my mom was in the hospital, I was like, this cat must be kept alive at all costs. Closer we got to my mom getting out, I was like, if this cat fucking dies today, oh no. So she got to reunite with her cat, and it was like fucking adorable. Um, then I went to Toronto,
Mhm.
did a signing at Capt Can Comics over there in Brantford. They're the folks that do the Canadian arm of Kev's Comics Club, which we do out of that secret stash. You can get all masquerades and quick stops like signed and sent right to your house. But we never did Canada because it was too cost prohibitive to ship. But we ship our books to Capcan, they ship them out. So they got a storefront as well. What a fucking great operation this is. Jaden, who's the kid, and Warren, his dad. Like one day his dad came home from work and said, "Fuck it, I'm quitting. Let's open a comic book store." Because this kid was like, "There's a hole in the business." He's like, "And I think we could fill it." These fucking geniuses move over 1,000 comic books a day, bro.
How?
You know what I'm saying? Like every time I come into a business where I'm like, they're doing better than me, I'm like, what the fuck is the secret? Crazy.
Like, do they stuff each book with loonies?
You would think, or toonies for that matter. They
a lot of cocaine.
They do a lot of mail order and send it out across Canada and stuff like that. So not 1,000 books like in person at the, people walking up and stuff. But I saw their fucking room where they have all the books ready to be shipped out. And it's bigger than this room I'm in right now. And every shelf was full. And they're like, all these books are already paid for. We just have to get them out. So these cats are doing a fucking killer business. And it does your heart good because it's comic books. It's the fucking reason we even do this shit, because we grew up reading comic books. And now they make movies and TV shows and video games and shit like that. But it all started with the word and the picture. And there's still an audience for it. So I did a signing at Capcan, which was lovely. And then at night I did a show at the Sanderson Center, the first Q&A I've done like a long time. Certainly the first Q&A I've done, straight up Q&A. I Q&A all the time, like at Smodcastle after shows, but a show that's just a Q&A. First one I've done fucking without weed. It's now like been 20 weeks since I've smoked weed. So it was a hell of an interesting night and great show. Brantford was wonderful. Canada's always nice to me. Then I went back down to the States, to Jersey, and me and Ralph did Hollywood Babylon on Saturday night, and that was wonderful. And then I got back. I saw my kid on Sunday. She flew into Jersey to start shooting a movie up north. So she came down to the theater, her and Austin, her boyfriend, and it was late at night. It was like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. And we were going to watch Guardians of the Galaxy, which she hasn't seen. And she comes in, she was like, "You're fucking showing The Little Mermaid?" And I was like, "Oh God, no." And that's what she chose to watch instead. So I've seen Guardians, twice, 3 times now. I had no intention of watching The Little Mermaid, but I'll be able to speak knowledgeably about The Little Mermaid. I watched all 2 hours and 15 minutes of this shit. The cartoon was under 90, if I remember correctly. I mean,
it was a quick hit.
A couple fun songs, fucking good little moral, and Hans Christian Andersen out. But that movie, they invented new fucking songs, Mark.
They did.
And went for 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's not like it wasn't well made, but heavens, we'll talk about that later. And then as of Monday, I've been home here, man. And the movers came on Monday. My house is now 90% empty as we prepare to paint it for the inside for the first time in 21 years, getting ready to put it up on the market. So it's been a fucking crazy 10 days. And then I go out this weekend to Dallas for Fan Expo in the state of Texas. That Dallas as opposed to
Dallas, Ohio.
Yeah, Dallas. But so it's been a whirlwind trip, man. So I have not. That's a long way. Oh my God, that's a long way of saying that I have not returned to my ring just fell off, to the picket lines. What's it like on the picket lines?
There's a good energy on the picket line. There's been some strike activity, some AMPTP, the Alliance of Motion Picture Television Producers. The way that the unions all have 3-year contracts with the AMPTP set of lines, but the contracts and the renegotiation of those contracts is a staggered affair. The Writers Guild goes first in May, the Directors Guild goes second, and the Screen Actors Guild goes third. And so the writers If you have not been under a rock, it did not go well, said negotiations. So we're on strike and have been now. This is week 6. The Directors Guild went in for their negotiations and struck a deal with the Alliance of Motion Picture Television Producers.
That's right.
Or at the very least, a preliminary deal has been met. What now has to happen is the board of directors of the DGA has to vote on said deal, which apparently they did, and then they're recommending it to the membership now to vote, and then we'll see what happens. The deal, according to the DGA, the deal has made some historic gains in certain places, some less than historic gains in other places, but each of these guilds will do ultimately what is best for their guild. What they deem to be best for the guild. The Screen Actors Guild, which is the biggest of the three, held what's called a strike authorization vote, which the WGA had done beforehand, which basically it polls the membership and asks them for permission to go into negotiations with the ability to strike should it be required. It's another bullet in the chamber of that particular gun that is negotiating with the AMPTP, and a strong authorization vote is seen as a pretty decent weapon or a tool to help get what you want. The Screen Actors Guild has never done a strike authorization vote before, but they did, and they came back with, of the 60,000 members who voted, 98 point whatever percent authorized the vote, which means that they're serious now about going and getting the things that they want.
That means the constituency of the Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA as well, have said, yeah, strike if you gotta.
Right.
Now the uppers can decide as they go. When's their negotiation? I think it starts this week.
It starts this week. I think it starts either today or tomorrow.
And if the
AMPTP
plays hardball like they've been playing with the Writers Guild, then SAG has been authorized to strike.
Right. Now the writers have always been deemed as sort of the unruly children of these three guilds. The DGA has always been the sort of the elder son. I'm the eldest boy, says the DGA. And the actors
wasn't like Kendall was not the eldest boy. Like they all leave Connor out of it, man. He was the eldest boy.
He was the eldest boy.
I saw that trending on Twitter, and I thought it was like, oh, finally, Connor's gonna assert himself, but instead it was fucking Kendall, that unreasonable son of a bitch. Did you see the story where Jesse Armstrong was like, so we're shooting that scene, and what was his name, Jeremy Strong?
Yeah.
Like ad-libs, improvises, getting up on the railing, and like fucking thinking about jumping into the Hudson and shit. Like, and Jesse Armstrong was like, not what I had in mind for the character. And more importantly, terrified us all because we would have had frogmen waiting in the water and stuff like that. Mercifully, he didn't do it. But we'll talk about Succession ending later on. Anyway, back to the real story of Succession.
And the actors have always been this sort of wild card in that they rarely strike. They're the biggest union, but always have been seen as like trying to herd a bunch of cats, sometimes in the dark. And so with an authorization vote, it seems as if both they are serious about the issues that are facing their constituency, some of which overlap with the directors and the writers, some of which are uniquely theirs. But it has shifted the tenor, I think, of the strike entirely, which is, could we have a 2-union strike? We've never had a 2-union strike before. And if the actors walk, then that really shuts down the town because, without scripts, it's hard. Without actors, it's impossible.
Right.
And so, if the actors do go on strike, then I think that does bring a hasty resolution to what this action is. And the hope is always that, whatever deal the directors make suddenly becomes a bit better for us. We get to improve upon their deal. If the actors go on strike, then the studios will be much more incentivized to sit down and deal with everybody at once and hopefully just wrap this thing up. But so there's some joie de vivre. There's a esprit de corps, maybe some other French words about the feeling on the line.
In chat, Mark, we have a lot of people who are telling you to fix your camera because it's upside down, but we should probably point out, if you haven't seen, yeah, what the fuck, kids? It's Spider-Verse, man. Miles Morales behind. That's why the world's upside down behind Mark. The world's upside down behind me because all of my shelves are fucking empty. Look at this horrible fucking. I quickly cobbled together some shit behind me so it just wasn't a sea of whiteness, like my office got gentrified behind my back or something like that.
Did you become a Restoration Hardware?
Yes. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, man. In this I'm telling you, 90% of our shit is in storage, which I'll be honest with you, I haven't missed anything. So it's like there must be the whole thing must be a metaphor for capitalism. Or it's just a reminder that you just don't need that much shit in life. As much shit as you accumulate, crazy the amount of shit that I never touched behind me or throughout the rest of the house. All right, so Writers Guild strike still in full effect, folks.
Indeed.
SAG may join the fight,
and
as Mark feels that would just end shit. However, reality TV says, "Hold my beer."
Indeed, there's we got some wrestling in-laws. In case you want to look at that, we got some housewives who are very real in whatever city they live in.
You don't need a writer for that, and you don't need an actor for that. Believe it or not, those shows don't have writers or actors. Just a lot of drama somehow. Indeed. So we'll keep you abreast, kids, of when shit's on and whatnot, when shit's off. But until then, check out Mark's feeds, man, and his Instagram. And you still fuck with Twitter or no?
I have not fucked with Twitter in a while. It's been like I haven't closed up shop there. Like I still have the handle, but I don't frequent that way too much. I think about it occasionally returning, especially with the strike, especially with being able to talk about that stuff. It was nice when promoting new material as a way to signal boost some things, but the day-to-day of it, I don't miss that much at all.
Reborn Hunter 3213 says he's curious how wrestling gets around the writer thing. Like they have staff writers. What a good question. Like, but I guess those writers aren't a part of the Writers Guild.
That's my guess. In the same way that like video game writers are not part of the guild,
and animation is not part of it as well.
Like animation has a couple of like wiggle rooms where you can, if you're a showrunner with some moxie, you can have a guild covered cartoon, which began with, if I remember correctly, The Simpsons. Was the first, like it was the Fox primetime animation loophole, and so The Simpsons was the first. Family Guy, and all of those like Fox evening shows are guild covered. Some Netflix cartoons are, some Hulu, some of that stuff is, but by and large, there's all separate animation guild. So that's my guess. My guess is that the WWE writers or AEW or whatever wrestling federation you're a follower of are not members of the guild.
Josh Mundall is saying, Kev, what happened to my Fantastic 2 poster? And he's asking also Excalibur, June 17th at Smodcastle Cinemas. Josh, your Fantastic 2 image. We sell, before every screening that I'm in attendance at Smodcastle Cinemas, my movie theater back in New Jersey, we do auctions. So like, before Jersey Girl, we did auctions for like, you could have won the crew jacket from Rap of Jersey Girl. All the actors got this jacket. Posters signed by like Ben and Liv Tyler and Raquel and me. When we did Babylon, we auctioned off stuff. We did Jaws, everything that I do. Like, for example, coming up, not this week, but next week, June 15th, 16th, and 17th, we're doing Watch with Kev, The Flash. So the opening weekend of The Flash, you can come watch it at Smodcastle Cinemas with me. 7:00 show. There's the artwork. And I mean, it's the movie artwork. We just put my face on it. And then afterwards I do a Q&A for a movie I had nothing to do with. It's such a blast. But in front of that, we'll be doing auctions every night. One of the auctions is a Justice League baseball cap that has the entire fucking Justice League signed it. Like Ben and Gal and Henry and so forth. Everybody needs
somebody.
We'll auction off a bunch of cool shit. Auction off some shirts that I made for Supergirl and the Flash. Those auctions are fucking fun, man. It's usually like a whole hour before the show even begins because we're auctioning shit off. So anyway, Josh was asking about that. It's coming, Captain. Ernie's in charge of that. So I'll get on Ernie. Smodcastle keeper Ernie O'Donnell. Also, just while we're talking about Smodcastle Cinemas, so I turned 53 on August 2nd, Mark. I've lived another year almost. To celebrate on July 29th, which is the Saturday before August 2nd, we're doing a birthday show at Smodcastle Cinemas, which is very interesting. We were going to do a birthday Q&A show, but I decided against. Instead, we're doing a live script reading of Superman Lives. Throw that art up, JC, Banff man. Let's show the kids what that artwork looks like. Look at that. Look at that. That's going to be July 29th at Smodcastle Cinemas. We're reading my script aloud, my 1997 Superman Lives script, the longest draft of it. And that's how we're going to celebrate my birthday. But it's a cosplay birthday. So you can come in costume as your favorite character. Be who you want to be while we sit up there and read the fucking script, man.
Who's doing the reading? Do you have fancy people?
No. Yeah. Fucking it's me. Maybe I'll read all the parts. Fuck you. I'm fancy.
I'm fancy. I say who. I say when.
I say who. Yeah, I don't know that I'm bringing in fancy people and shit. I think, you know what they taught me at that fucking nut house that I was at when I went to Seattle, Tucson? I'm enough, Mark. I'm enough. So don't be fucking triggering me, telling me that I need fancy people.
I'm the goodest boy.
I choose me. I validate myself. I don't need...
choose me.
I choose me. Tickets for Watch the Flash with Kev or Watch with Kev, calling the Flash, or the Superman Lives birthday script reading available right now at smodcastlecinemas.com. Also, July 1st, we're doing Bear is Driving, the Clerks cartoon marathon. And Jeff Anderson and Brian O'Halloran, Randall and Dante are going to be in the hizzy. So that's a good ass time too. We're always doing fun shit at Smodcastle Cinemas, kids. And there have been so many people who are like, I literally cannot get there from England, from fucking California, from Maryland. I would disagree with the Maryland part. I mean, it's
just a drive.
It's just a car ride. But so many people is like, can't you stream this shit? We're working on it right now, kids. So if you can't make it to these events live and in person, we're going to be doing a stream that you could join up and watch it along with everybody else and stuff. So dragging Smodcastle Cinemas into the future. I just this week, man, like months ago, I think back in like November, we ordered this like Barco projector, which is a laser fucking projector. High-end shit, Mark. And it just got there. So we will have the best in Theater One, the best fucking projection picture in all of New Jersey. Like this is a kind of projector that, they use at fucking the AMC up in Manhattan,
Ooh.
Yeah, or the Alamo Draft House. But I don't even think Alamo Draft House has the one we got. This shit is high end, bro. If you're like a nerd that's like, I want pitch perfect, beautiful projection, you're gonna fucking cum your pants when you come see a movie at my fucking movie theater and shit. I'm hooked my Apple TV up to it so I can sit down there and use it like my television as well. But when I'm not using it like my TV, because there's nothing to watch because fucking the whole world's on strike and now Succession's over. God damn it. We're going to be showing movies. I can't wait to watch Spider-Verse again through this fucking projector, because our previous projector was nice and Spider-Verse looked vivid and shit. But oh my God, with this Barco, son, it might be worth flying all the way to Smodcastle just to watch that. But Marc is coming to Smodcastle August 25th. We're doing Fat Man Beyond live on August 25th, just like we did it in March. And then August 26th, we're doing a double feature that Marc conceived of called Keep Calm and Curry On. A salute to Tim Curry. The first show is Clue, and the second show is Legend. 2 shows for the price of 1. And then me and Marc will get up and Q&A for movies we had nothing to do with.
Nope.
You can get those tickets right now at podcastcinemas.com. And look, Banff Man's here. He's probably here to remind us that on June 19th, is that what you're nodding about?
Yeah, June 19th in California. I was getting there.
You didn't have any fucking trust in me. You didn't have any faith in me. I know how to sell, JC. Don't trigger me and send me back to the nut house. I'm a good boy. Save myself. But JC's right. On June 19th, me and Marc, if you're like in Los Angeles, like all the cool shit happens in New Jersey, which nobody ever said ever. We are going to be doing Fat Man Beyond live again, just like we did for the 400th episode, right here in Los Angeles, in the city of Angles, June 19th, Juneteenth, if you will. Is that correct?
I know, yes. Come and buy me drinks for Juneteenth.
That's right. Me too.
Yeah. Reparations!
Liquid reparations. June 19th. Tickets are on sale right now. Now come in, Banff Man, because now we need information. Where do they get them tickets?
Banff. Fatman619.eventbrite.com. It's up on the screen if you want to do that. I'll put it in the chat as well.
What an easy address to remember. Couldn't come up with a tinier
619./HTM.
We had a good ass time at the last show, live show that we did at
That's awesome.
Scum Villainy Cantina. Banff Man wears many hats, kids. Like today, he's wearing that hat right now. But when he's not doing this show, facilitating this show, making sure that you can all see it from the privacy of your own home, he's running the best damn watering hole that is not fucking breaking any copyright or trademark laws ever. Called the Scum Villainy Cantina, right here in Hollywood Boulevard. You've seen it on this show. Come be at it on Juneteenth, man. June 19th, when me and Marc do Fat Man Beyond. That's the weekend after Flash opens. So I'll be in Jersey doing the 15th, 16th, and 17th. Watch Flash with Kev. And then we're going to talk about it at Scum Villainy Cantina on the 19th. I'm bi-coastal, bitch. I'm bi as fuck.
Oh, hell yeah.
Bye-bye, boys.
You've always been.
I have been. Some people have been asking me in chat, they're like, where are you moving? New York or New Jersey or LA? The answer is both. We'll be buying a house here in Los Angeles when we eventually buy a house, but I have an apartment above Smodcastle, so I don't need to buy anything there. That's where I go stay when I'm on the East Coast. So tickets everywhere. If you're on the East Coast, if you're on the West Coast, you come see me and Marc. Either place, only in August for Marc, but me, you can see me practically every fucking weekend in New Jersey.
I mean, maybe I'll come back in October. Maybe I'll come up with a punny reason to come back to the theater in October.
You should.
For the hunt for Dead October.
Yeah.
A couple horror movies we can program.
Ooh, that is a good pun right there. Do you think the strike will be over by then?
God, I hope so. That'd be great. But I think so.
You're going to have to start making your living as a live entertainer, my friend.
I know. I'm going to need a road show. I'm going to need like one of them traveling vans that I can fill with my tchotchkes to sell.
That, or just fucking do Fat Man Beyond. We just go places and do the same show live.
Like we used to do. We used to do that a lot.
But
do it again.
Where the strike goes on, that's like you just build multiple fucking dates. You go out there in the world. Because I'll tell you something, a prophet is never accepted in his hometown. Here, New Jersey, people are like, we've seen it. We take this show to fucking Kentucky. We take this show to Nebraska. We take this show to fucking Ohio. We live like fat rats and kings. Charge any price we want. $100 to meet some quasi-celebrities with a whiff of entertainment about them.
They put on a show. They did something. I'm not sure if it was entertainment, but they talked for 9 hours.
They did. They talked a long time. Mostly they bitched about the strike. But we'll do it in your hometown, kids, close to you. Never mind fucking you streaming and watching it and shit like that. Be there in the room where it happens. As that
Coming to your house.
Song said, yeah, fucking you pay us enough, we'll literally come to your house and stream there. We should offer that, man. There are crazy people out there that would just be like, oh my God, I'll pay you guys 30 grand to stream the show from my house. Done.
I remember the Foo Fighters, I want to say it was like 10 years ago. They did a thing called the Garage Tour where they would just go around the country and play in people's garages. Like they'd make contact with people at like garage bands. Like, you know what? The Foo Fighters are going to show up to your house, set up their gear in your garage and play a concert for your friends. And I thought that was always fun. It's like, we'll come to your living room. We'll watch a movie with you. We'll talk about it. Maybe they'll stream it from your house. It'll cost you $1,000 an hour.
I mean, that's a little low, for heaven's sakes.
I mean, I'm trying to make it a bargain first.
Don't. We need the money. We're fucking out of work writers, for heaven's sake. Before we dive into our show content, kids, before we talk about Spider-Man : Across the Spider-Verse, a movie that, well, we'll hold the thought. Perhaps we should bring up our sponsor, our first of 2 sponsors for the evening, man.
Indeed.
The good folks at Native, who we absolutely love, are our first sponsor of the evening, putting us in front of you, giving us the money that is required in order for us to stream this into homes everywhere and stuff. Native, folks. Give your skin the protection it deserves with Native's mineral sunscreens. Go to nativedeo.com/fatman. Follow along as we talk about them. Or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout. You're going to get 20% off your first order. That's nativedeo.com/fatman, or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout. nativedeo.com/fatman or promo code FATMAN. Now, Native. They're amazing. They've been a sponsor of ours for a while, man. They make the good smelling this shit and the good smelling this shit. You're like, what are they selling now, man? Sunscreen. Why? Because it's the summer, man. I love the feeling of soaking up the sun this time of year. That feels like a lie. I'm usually indoors. All right, let me reword this.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm forced to leave my house and I have to soak up the sun this time of year. Or if you're a striking writer like Marc Bernardin and I, you're spending a lot of time under the goddamn sun lately.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, writers are in a dark pit with no lights on doing this shit. But now, lately, we're on lines holding up picket signs and shit. With all that time in the sun, you're always worried about protecting the skin, right? But with Native sunscreen, you can give skin the protection it needs, and as you soak up some much-needed sun. Take it away, Marc.
Native's quickly absorbing, ultra sheer, hydrating, and lightweight sunscreen formula offers broad spectrum SPF 30 protection from both UVA and UVB rays. All Native sunscreen is made with a 20% active zinc oxide formula that is dermatologist tested and suitable for your sensitive skin.
We all have sensitive skin, kids, particularly around our taint. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So if you're doing, face down, ass up in the sun, get yourself some of that Native.
And it's the summertime. If you're not doing face down, ass up, you're doing it wrong.
All Native sunscreen is made from oils derived from plants that seal in skin moisture and is vegan and cruelty-free. You can choose from one of Native's 3 delicious but subtle scents like coconut and pineapple, rosé, or sweet peach and nectar for your face and body and taint. Or try Native's.
I choose coconut and pineapple.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a sweet peach for my sweet peaches.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Peach has a smell?
Sure it does. Smells like
pineapple
peach.
has a very strong smell. Coconut has a very strong smell. It smells like a fucking pina colada. I like to smell like a mixed drink. So
I like to smell like a Long Island iced tea. Just booze and alcohol. Or native does have an unscented option if you decide to let your other scent take over.
You want your natural cassoulet to creep through, man, then you use that unscented option. With all native sunscreens, you're going to get protection from the sun that is free of chemical actives, oxybenzone, octinoxate, and avobenzone, man, which makes native sunscreen compliant with the Hawaii Act 104, which was passed in an effort to protect Hawaii's reefs, man. Come on, don't get in trouble with Hawaii's 5-0, for heaven's sake.
No, Jason Momoa will come and kick your fucking ass.
You will, man. If you saw the Fast X movie, like I didn't, you'll know that fucking that movie did not do well at Smodcastle. I'll tell you that right now. I walked into the theater, opened the door. There was literally nobody in the 4 o'clock screening, 7 o'clock screening, one guy by himself. I felt so bad. I went in, I was like, "You all right, buddy?" He was like, "This is the way I like it." I was, fair enough. And I fucked off.
Yeah, it's like I bought the whole theater out just for me.
I know. Dude could have jerked off in the theater. And, we only way we would have known is if he left a mess to clean up. But there ain't going to be no mess with native, kids. I'll tell you that right now. Give your skin the protection it deserves with Native's mineral sunscreens. Go to nativedeo.com/fatman or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout. You're going to get 20% off your first order, you little fuck. Yeah, I said it. That's nativedeo.com/fatman or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout. One more time for the people who are like, what did he say? nativedeo.com/fatman or use the promo code FATMAN. We love the good folks at Native, and they seemingly love us. Either that or they must have a big ad spend that they got to spread out. But they always tend to sponsor this show, and God damn it, we appreciate it, particularly in these strike-addled times. So we thank the good folks at Native for their constant support.
Indeed.
And now, on with the countdown. Number 48.
Bam.
Oh, Bam Fan's back, everybody.
You touched on something I've always wondered. As a theater owner, if nobody buys a ticket, do you still show the movie to an empty theater?
What an interesting question from Banff Man. Why didn't you put that in Super Chat and pay us $200 to ask that? I'll tell you right now, I asked that question fairly recently of Smodcastle keeper Ernie O'Donnell. What happens if nobody comes? He goes, we play the movie for the first 10 minutes and then shut it off. So if you've ever asked, like, if a movie happens, nobody comes, did it happen? It happens for 10 minutes and then they shut it off. And then if somebody's like, oh my God, I couldn't find parking in this one horse town. I'm here to see the fucking 4 o'clock show and it's 4:10. Guess what we do at Smodcastle Cinemas? We started from the beginning for you.
Really?
That's how we roll at Smodcastle Cinemas, man. Because we believe in the customer, because there's only like 9 of them ever.
And that doesn't fuck with the next show that's supposed to run for nobody?
There's always a bit of time built in, but that would require somebody to show up for the next show. Telling you right now, man, film exhibition, at least in our theater. I'm hoping that Barco projector changes things, but no complaints, man. I didn't buy a movie theater to get rich. I bought a movie theater so I could do any fucking thing I want. And I do all the time. We do fucking shows. My shows are always fucking fairly well attended and packed. I mean, for Jaws, we had like 125, 130 people or something like that.
That's strong.
They could have watched that shit at home. Could have watched it on their fucking phone, but people are like, ooh, I want to see it on the big screen. So guess what we're going to do every year? Jaws. Red State, we had like 75 people show up. I watched all 3 movies that weekend. I sat in the back on we got Apple boxes, from that you get on movie sets and shit like that. Mm-hmm. I sit in the back of my Apple box, lean against the back wall. I watched the fuck out of some Jaws. I watched the fuck out of some fucking Red State. Red State's a goddamn good movie. I know it's gross if I say it because I'm the filmmaker, but fucking Michael Parks is magic. You know what we did too after Hollywood Babylon? Josh Roush made a movie called Long Lonesome Highway about Michael Parks, the late great Michael Parks. It was a Quentin favorite and a Kevin Smith favorite as well. What a great documentary it was. And he's about to get the interview with Quentin that he hasn't had for all this time. That's the kind of thing you can do when you own a movie theater. So I don't give a shit if people don't show up to see Fast X. And I'm, whatever. Fucking go ahead. You go to the Carmikey and watch it. You go to fucking AMC and watch it. Don't support a mom and pop shop, you little jerk. I'll still be fucking putting asses in seats with fucking Jersey Girl Uncut and Hollywood Babylon. And I'm coming off drunk, aren't I? Mad at the world.
A little Orson Welles and Citizen Kane.
It's the Celsius, man. Is grape. It's like wine. So I'm like, hey, you.
It's like
hey.
caffeinated wine.
It is. It's heavily caffeinated wine. All right, man. So while I was at Smodcastle Cinemas, guess what I watched?
Tell me what you watched. Little Mermaid?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes, I did. And look, I ain't saying it's not well made. It's incredibly well made. In fact, at one point, about 20 minutes into it, when I was like, there's 2 hours left. I was sitting there thinking, like, this is crazy, man. They got what's her name? Melissa McCarthy, like just slithering around the bottom of the ocean floor as if she's really doing that. You know what I'm saying? And like, and then there's the little girl, Halle Bailey. Halle Bailey, is that her name?
Halle Bailey.
Oh, Halle Bailey be a lot cuter. Holly Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
She's fucking jetting around under the sea, trademark, and like moving and swimming fast. And I'm taking it for granted, like she's one of them wiki-watchy mermaids and shit with the fake tail. But all this shit had to be put together, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're all wearing green and dots all over their faces, and then they fucking put it. It is crazy, man, the amount of craftsmanship that goes into that fucking shit. And it's seamless. Like I was like, wow, Melissa McCarthy looks like a giant octopus woman who's moving around, you know, in real time. Even though I work in the movie business, sometimes I forget that a lot of shit is like trickery. And this movie looked absolutely fucking phenomenal. Rob Marshall directed it.
Yep.
You know, and he did Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Fucking, I love Chicago. So even if Little Mermaid, you know, sucked, I'd still give him fucking credit for doing Chicago. But it didn't suck. It was well made. It didn't need to be 2 hours and 15 minutes long. I'll tell you that much right now.
No, and I also think that like I saw it and had an emotional response to it, separated from the movie itself. Because, you know, I if you're going to make it 2.5 hours, 2:15, whatever it was, then like, hey, you know, it'd be great. Why is Ursula so awful? Like, what's her story? What's her deal? Does it just need to be like, oh, I want what my brother has. I want, why does she have such a mad on for Ariel? Why is she the way she is?
Also, were they related in the cartoon?
I don't remember.
That hit me. I bumped into that a little bit when she was like, my brother. I was like, wait, I think that's new.
Yeah. But like, give me that motivation. Give me a new Ursula song that explains why she is, how she is.
Instead they gave Prince Eric a fucking song.
Yeah, who did not need a whole new song.
Lovely dude, you know, in terms of the guy who played him, God bless, but like fucking, I don't need to hear that guy sing.
No.
Not the actor, the fucking character. It's like, who gives a fuck what's on his mind?
Yeah, especially because he's not singing to anybody. Like he's just walking along the beach, just like belting a number. And it's like, well, if it's not going to be to Ariel, if it's not going to be to his mother, if it's not going to be to a person, then I don't need Eric's I want song.
It's just being like, I want to fuck a fish. Why can't I fuck a fish?
Just naming all the fishes he loves, he wishes he could fuck. Like,
no, I certainly want to fuck a blowfish.
You know, and then I didn't understand. I mean, there's always a weirdness about that story that like, oh, right, you need to steal the woman's voice. You need to steal her agency, her ability to communicate in order for her to fall in love. Like there's the weird, the lack of agency of Ariel is somewhat astonishing in that story, and some of it you just can't get away from because it's there. And then the end of the movie, spoiler, in case you've never seen The Little Mermaid, her father, King Triton, at the end, after hating all humans, comes around and decides maybe humans aren't so bad. You know, flash forward another couple hundred years, and yeah, humans are the worst. But he has to make this choice about saying, well, I'll never see you again because now you're going to live in man's world. It's like, bro, she could also come and visit. Like you could give her the power to have her tail and then have legs at will. She could be a transformer if you needed her to be.
He's got a magic fucking fork. He's got a
Yeah.
magic
You can do
trident.
anything with the trident, man. Just make
Well,
it.
really, he can't. He does. He does. It's weird. The trident blows shit up, or fucking gives people legs. It's really ill-defined, man.
Go to the store and buy a trident. What does this one do? Well,
Yeah.
sir,
like,
you'll love this feature.
Yeah, you'll basically they all do different shit. This one blows shit up or gives people legs. He's like, oh man, I was looking for one that would. I was looking for a salad fork. He's like, well, we got one of those too, but it blows the salad up.
Yeah.
My kid was like, oh my god, I want to watch The Little Mermaid, and I was like, oh my god, like, are you kidding me? We could watch fucking Guardians, we can watch Across the Spider-Verse, but like, I was reduced. Almost like my kid was not 23, but in fact 3 or 4. And she was like, I want to watch The Little Mermaid. And just like I did back in the day, look, I saw The Little Mermaid when I had no children and no wife. And I fucking lugged that shit. You know what? Fuck you. I love The Little Mermaid. The cartoon is amazing. And, fucking makes you tear up. The old one is when I saw it when I was in my late teens, early 20s, it made me emotional and shit. But, life goes on, and fucking the idea of sitting there watching the live action remake, this was my first live action Disney remake. I did not see Jungle Book. I did not see The Lion King. I did not see Beauty and the Beast. My guess years ago was once they bought Pixar, they were going to remake all their old classic cartoons, but in Pixar format. Like,
3D.
Yeah, which would have I would have been more into that personally, but what do I fucking know? Because they print money with these live action versions and shit where it's like, hey man, remember that cartoon? This is what it would look like if real people were doing it. And people love it. Now, I ain't saying Disney's dumb. They're smart as fuck because they get a second bite at the IP Apple, all new, and they don't have to pay anyone who was in the old one and shit like that. It costs them a pretty penny to do it, but it seems like they're reaping all the benefits. Although, I read an article about how overseas they're like, we don't want this, and there could be some racist edge to all that.
Yeah, because of course there was always going to be. It was part of the like, we're not going to put John Boyega on the poster for these Star Wars movies because turns out that maybe China and South Korea don't feel the same way about Black people as some of the rest of the world do.
What's that all about?
I mean,
hey Mark, figure out racism on the show.
Explain to me racism and also international racism. Like, I'm pretty sure you got a handle on America's racism.
You're pretty smart. You seem to know a lot of shit. You know a lot about the writer's strike. Well, why are people racist, Mark?
Yeah, do you have a hot 5 on racism? Just go.
Let me tell you something. Fucking that little girl, Holly Bailey.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible voice, wonderful performance. I bought that she was a fucking mermaid, 100%. But more than that, like, that singing was off the charts, fucking impressive. That must have been like why they chiefly hired her. They're like, listen to that fucking voice. Like, she don't need like her dad's magic fork to have a voice that beautiful. She's just a real ass person with a voice that beautiful. So it's tough not to get emotional when she's singing like fucking part of that world, fucking she brings it out of you. Even though I've heard that song a zillion fucking times, she sang it and I was like, Jesus, I too want to be. I wish I was a fish who wanted to be a human being, and I'm a human being.
Like, I got there. I'm at the finish line.
I got exactly what she wants, and yet her singing so beautiful, it made me want more.
Yes,
of being that thing that I am.
Let me tell you about legged privilege, Ariel.
Believe me, when she was singing, I was like, kid, it ain't that great on the land. Trust me.
I'm sorry. It's awful up here.
Yeah. I mean, down there, what? Sharks? That's your biggest fucking fear? Like, up here, home invasion. 2 words. Home invasion.
Yeah. Just don't go where the sharks are. It's fine.
That shark scene looked wicked too. It was incredibly well made.
Yeah.
Did I need to see this? No. Did I see it because, I still love my kid and I was reduced to, fucking suddenly I'm looking at this 23-year-old and I see the little girl that I would take to the movies all the time. Yes, absolutely. So I'm glad I did it, but 2 hours and 15 minutes at midnight. That's when we started watching this fucker.
Oh, there you go.
11 o'clock, actually, more than 11. And it was, oh yeah, fucking, they're still underwater. But it was a beautiful experience. And the movie looks great. And if you're into that sort of thing, by all means, go see it and stuff. But it was not the best movie I saw that weekend.
That's
the best
fair.
movie I saw this weekend, the past weekend, and perhaps the best movie I saw all year thus far. And I don't know if you count this shit as a movie because you're like, it's a fucking cartoon, but bullshit. Anything that evokes the power of storytelling and fucking emotion that this movie evoked has to be fucking cinema. With apologies to Mr. Martin Scorsese, was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I saw this movie 1.5 times. I loved it so fucking much. Oh my God. It was, this was the thought that I fucking had. We are all nerds now. Like, this is something that only you and I fucking 15 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, would have been able to completely parse and understand. But this movie is so well made, and they've all these fucking storytellers who've been pillaging comic book material now for a decade or more have trained the average moviegoer in the language, a secret language that people like us only used to speak amongst our nerdy selves and whatnot, that you can make a movie that deals with the multiverse and has a zillion different Spider-Men in it, and everyone gets the concept. Nobody bumps into it at all. It's fucking commonplace for them. This played like a graphic novel come to life. And all I could think was that quote from the Incredibles, when Syndrome is like, when everyone's super, then no one will be. When all of us are nerds, then no one will be. And that's where we are right now, because anybody can understand these concepts that heretofore, maybe a decade back, would have been rarefied breathing for people that grew up reading this shit and cataloging these stories and characters in their minds. What used to be the edge, what used to be, fucking for the few is now for the many. And I'm fucking here for it. I know some people get threatened by that. Where they're like, oh man, it was cooler when I liked it. Nobody else did. I don't have a garage band mentality. The more the fucking merrier. And as I sat there watching this movie, we had on Sunday night, I tell you, we don't get a lot of people coming to the movies. Sunday night we had, was it Sunday night or Monday night? We had like 46 people at our night show, which is like fucking unheard of and shit. So the movie's doing very well at our theater. And not a single one of them got up and left because they're like, what? I don't get it. Why are there so many Spider-Men? Blah, 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 blah. Everyone fucking understood this thing from start to finish. And it's quality fucking storytelling. Do you know how hard it is to follow up Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? An incredibly original story, well told by Lord and Miller. Like, I'll be honest with you, going into this, I was like, there's no way it could touch the original. It not only touches the original, there are times where I'm like, did this surpass the original? I loved it so fucking much. They went deep on the parents this time, which I guess know your audience, right? Like fucking they got the kids coming anyway. So they're like, let's give the parents something to go on. So his mom and dad get way more screen time than they did even in the first one. And Spider-Gwen gets fucking almost equal billing in terms of
she opens the movie. Like the first 20 minutes are Spider-Gwen.
In a really beautiful way. But this is truly a Miles Morales story. And once again, proves the insane viability of this character. And I know the spoilers thing is up, but I don't want to spoil too hard. But the reason, in the trailers, if you haven't seen it yet, they see all the Spider-Men and women are chasing fucking Miles Morales and stuff. And I remember watching the trailers and being like, I wonder what that's about. Why? The reason they came up for why, he's a threat. Why the bad guys essentially are all the fucking Spider-Men. Yeah, yes, the Spot is in it, and he's ultimately the big bad, but really it's Spider-Man versus Spider-Men and women. And the reason they came up for it, I thought was nothing short of fucking brilliant. I was like, Never in a million years. If they were like, Kev, we want you to do the sequel, I wouldn't have come up with anything nearly as fucking good. Like, it was fantastic from beginning to end and visually fucking vibrant. This is the best looking animated film I think I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. It's a work of art. They should hang it up in the Guggenheim. It's fucking so beautiful to look at. And I hope to God they give a lot of credit to Bill Sienkiewicz, because when I watch these, both the first one and this one, I see so much fucking Bill Sienkiewicz work in there, particularly Daredevil, like Love and Death. Last time we had Kingpin as an incredible big bad. This time we have the Spot, who starts off kind of goofy and then becomes like so goofy that like his secret origin is he's the guy that fucking Miles hits with a bagel in the first movie. I thought that was hysterical. He's like, you hit me with a bagel. And I was like, he's the bagel guy. But they start him off as he gets put down as villain of the week and shit. And they build him up into something fucking horrible with good reason, where it makes sense, where you're like, you know what, man, fucking like, I could see that. I mean, not like I could see that happening in the real world, but they bring the collider back and that makes a lot of sense. All of it fucking tracks and makes sense and fucking works. And Oscar Isaacs is fucking phenomenal, as little as he is in the movie. They make it seem like he's never into the movie, but he might as well be for the time he's in it, because he owns the fucking screen. Doing Miguel, Spider-Man 2099, like I remember when they put him at the tail end of Into the Spider-Verse, and I was like, oh, that's cute. They made him fucking a insanely wonderful, viable fucking character. Man, oh God, I love this movie so much. And I look forward to watching it again. Now that we're putting that Barco projector in, I'm going to watch it in fucking pristine laser projection at my own goddamn theater, Smodcastle Cinemas in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. I loved it, top to bottom, start to finish. Best movie of the year so far for me. Now, I haven't seen The Flash yet, and I'll be honest with you, even if The Flash sucks, as long as they got Michael Keaton in a Batman suit, it's probably my fucking vote. But this movie was absolutely phenomenal. I did not know how they were going to fucking stick the landing after the first one, which was incredible, and won an Academy Award. They stand a great chance at repeating that. And there's going to be a third part, so it could be a fucking three-peat. Fucking Lord and Miller could win 3 Oscars for the Spider-Verse movies. And I, for one, would be there for it. I loved it so fucking much, man. Over to you.
If you're like an A plus on it, I'm kind of a B plus on it. In that, like, I'm always here for Miles Morales. I'm always here for his parents. There's moments of that movie that hit me, like as a dad who has a kid who just came back from his freshman year of college, when Rio has a conversation with Miles about like, when you go off into that world, like you're going to meet a lot of people. Like it's the like, remember who you are. Don't forget where you came from. I hope you can love that little boy as he becomes a man as much as I do and take care of him. Like all that stuff was just, tear jerky, just wiping my face the entire time I'm watching that movie. I think that like the design work, the animation is glorious and wonderful. I think Spider-Punk is this phenomenal new addition that like, I never read those books. Like, my deep.
Was that real? Does he come from a spider?
I'm not even sure if he does. Like that's how much I don't know about where they've taken the Miles Morales story in the comics and how deep they've gone with that stuff. But Daniel Kaluuya as the non-conforming anarchist Spider-Man was just fucking awesome. Every bit of that was great. And even looking at, as I was watching some deep dive on TikTok about it, even in the animation styles, where all of the other Spider-Men are animated on the ones, which means that every frame you have a new pose in the frame. It makes it very fluid. Miles is animated on the twos, which means that there's 2 frames before Miles changes pose. That signifies that he's out of step with the other Spider-Man. It makes him a little bit more jagged, a little bit more stuttery, a little bit more comic booky. And Spider-Punk is on the 3s. Like he's out of step with everybody because he won't conform to either, the fluidity or the weird herky-jerky. And like, I thought that stuff was great. My sole issues with the movie, like I have two two of them, and one is that Spot isn't a great bad guy, only because even Miles doesn't consider him his villain, and he impacts the larger plot. He doesn't at all affect Miles's story. He feels like he's a plot device more than he's a villain for Spider-Man. Whereas Miguel is 100% a villain for Spider-Man. Like the idea that, and we're like light spoilers, but not deep spoilers, but the idea that for Miguel, keeping the order of the multiverse is the prime directive for him. And Miles himself is an aberration in the multiverse. Miles signifies everything that Miguel is
the original anomaly, he said.
Yeah, like, the spider that was supposed to go to a different universe gets shunted into Miles's universe and bites him, which means that there's a universe without a Spider-Man that's not supposed to not have a Spider-Man. And so the idea...
He also blamed Miles for the death of that universe's Spider-Man.
Yeah, like he doesn't die unless...
the Chris Pine Spider-Man.
Right, who was a great Spider-Man by all lights and was the protector of that particular New York. And so that idea that canon is inviolable, there is something incredibly subversive about that idea. The diehard fan who doesn't brook any deviations from canon, as opposed to the people who are like, hey man, just give me the one that's cool. And that's the dilemma of the movie. And I just felt so much more deeply about Miles and Miguel's story than I did about the Spot. But I also think that like there's an emotional disconnect for me in the first half of the movie. Seems to be about Miles's story with his parents, which are, you didn't show up on time, you're always late, we don't want you to leave home, we don't want you to go to Princeton, we don't want you to stray, we want to keep you close, but we also want you to remember who you are, to the end of the movie, which is, you're a mistake, Miles. Like, you never should have happened. You never should have been a Spider-Man. Your presence has destroyed a part of the multiverse, and we've got to fix it. Like, those two things aren't necessarily in line with each other. And so I was hoping that there would be an emotional consistency there. And for the first half of the movie, Miles doesn't really have a plot. Like, he's just chasing Gwen around. Like, he's lonely and sad, and then Gwen shows up and he's following Gwen. And by following Gwen, he ends up in danger. He ends up in Mumbattan, the Indian version of Manhattan, which is...
He was delightful too. And
he's great.
The voice is the guy from Deadpool, right?
Yeah.
He was fun. Absolutely fucking lovely. It was a wonderful addition. And is that also a real Spider-Man? There's a lot of people in chat who said Spider-Punk is in comics. Dan Slott co-created the character. So I'm imagining that the Spider-Man from Mumbattan is also straight out the comic books.
Yeah, I mean, none of that would surprise me, and it's so well done. Like, there's never a minute where I'm watching that movie that I had a bad time in it. It's always enjoyable. It's always vibrant. I mean, I think that like the way that they're pushing art in these movies is so remarkable. Like all the Gwen Stacy stuff in like these weird bleeding pastels, and it is just all emotional tone. They're not even aiming for realism. Like, realism is the least thing they're concerned about in the Gwen Stacy stuff. It's all the relationship between her and her band and her and herself and her and her dad, was all incredibly just well drawn and well realized. I just kind of like, there's a nudge more that I was hoping for in the emotional story, and in giving Miles a bit more to do when he's on screen. But those are, I'm not going to say they're small quibbles, but like, I still had a blast at this movie. It for me is not as resonant and emotional a movie as the first one is, and that's hard to do. The Into the Spider-Verse is maybe the best superhero movie I've ever seen. Easy top 3. So to not achieve those heights, I don't blame a movie for not being able to achieve those heights. Those heights are impossible to achieve. The What's Up Danger scene, there's nothing in this movie that's as emotional as that is in that movie. The What's Up Danger scene is this perfect encapsulation of what it means to become a hero, what it means to synthesize all those versions of yourself. The kid who's not sure of himself, the kid who's not sure his dad's gonna like him, the kid who's not sure that the spider people are gonna like him. He's not sure he can do the thing, but believes he can, and is still a little bit of afraid that he can't, but jumps off the building anyway. Like, that scene is just, it's perfect. And there is no scene like that in Across the Spider-Verse. Maybe they didn't try for it. Maybe they realized, yeah, we can't do that again. Let's try something else. Um, so I can't even hold it against the movie for not being able to achieve perfection twice, because that's an incredibly long order.
Did you bump into it being a cliffhanger?
I bumped into it being a cliffhanger only because it doesn't really cliffhang the way like Empire cliffhangs. Empire cliffhangs on tragedy, right? Like this cliffhangs on plot, not emotion.
Explain.
Empire cliffhangs on, oh my God, my father is the villain that we've been fighting this whole time. I lost my hand, I lost my friend, like the rebels are on their last fucking legs. Like, oh shit, I don't know if they're gonna come back from this. Whereas this, like, Miles hasn't lost anything yet. His dad is still his dad and still alive. Gwen's dad is still a captain. All the captains that we've been told we should be afraid we're going to lose, we haven't lost yet. Miguel hasn't done the awful thing yet. Spot hasn't done the awful thing yet. So Miles is just lost, which is bad, but it's not apocalyptically bad. And that's kind of what I was hoping for. Something like, holy shit, what's he going to do now? And like, we kind of know what he's going to do after this cliffhanger. That question isn't necessarily unresolved, but it didn't bother me that they cliff hung. I just wish it was a little bit more perilous, the cliff we were hanging off of.
I had a distant memory of the fact that they were like, oh, it's going to be 2 parts.
Yeah.
That I completely forgot right up until to be continued. I was sitting there going like, wow, man, how are they going to get out of this now? Like, works close to the bone and shit. And there was no what's up danger moment, which means that could probably happen in part 3 if it was a movie split in 2.
Right. It totally could, and like, it's not an origin story anymore. And so that's very much an origin moment. It's now you're Spider-Man. This is the moment you become Spider-Man. This is the moment you become the hero that you're going to be. And like, yeah, they could have teed up an audience a bit better that it's a cliffhanger, because yeah, there were a couple of people in the theater that I was in who were like, what the fuck? Like, really? Yeah, just like out loud didn't know that this was a 2-parter.
Drew D in chat just said the crowd moaned at my theater, like when it ended, like, oh. I was okay with it, man. As a theater owner, I was like, yes, bring him back in a few months. Please, I need the help. This is the new Super Mario Brothers. You didn't find it emotional that his Uncle Aaron was alive? I mean in a world.
Yeah, I mean, I did, but that is not necessarily the answer to the question that had been posed about Miles in the rest of the story leading up to it. It's an interesting twist. I mean, it's a Twilight Zone episode, right? Like, he ends up in this new world where he's the villain and his dad is dead, but his uncle's alive. And like, which one would I have rather had? Like, but we know that he'd rather his dad back. We know he'd like to have his uncle back too. We know that, it's, if the movie had been, you don't understand me, Dad, the way Uncle Aaron understood me. Uncle Aaron knew who I was and accepted me for who I was. But you, Dad, keep wanting to force me to be a version of you. And so at the end of that, to discover like, oh shit, my dad is dead, but Aaron is here, and this Aaron might understand me. And oh, but wait, this Aaron is evil again. And oh wait, my dad is dead. Like, it then inverts the question that he'd been asking for the movie. But like, again, I deeply liked this movie. Like, I kind of adored it. These are in no way like, world-ending knocks for me. Like, you know what? Fuck it. This movie is awful because these 2 things I didn't like. There's so much about this movie to love. There's so much about this movie. I mean, Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy is doing amazing work. I mean, Shamik Moore as Miles continues to do amazing work. All of that stuff with, I mean, his parents, and even just a little throwaway fucking gags of like when, when the guidance counselor played by Rachel Dratch is like, it's a great American story. She's like, oh, it's a great immigrant story. She's like, we're from Puerto Rico, which is part of America. And Miles is like, no, I mean, we're like Dominican. And her mother snaps his fingers, and the snap is the colors of the Puerto Rican flag. And it's like it's the bagel shit. It's just these little like things that they tossed in there to make it, deep and layered in texture. It's yeah, no, it's done with such care and such love that I can't ever.
Kay Blixt in chat says the Universe 42 spider was supposed to bite the alternate prowler Miles.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think they did say like Earth 42 or some such shit.
That's why he goes to the wrong universe, is because that's what the go home machine keys off of.
Yes,
is the 42.
Right. So that meant that spider was supposed to bite that Miles, and instead that Miles becomes a prowler.
Yeah, or that spider was supposed to bite that Peter Parker. We don't know that part of it either. But
Langley M. Neely in chat says, reminds me of Dune, a good film that truly depends on the rest of the story to be great. Would you back that?
That's a pretty good read. Like it doesn't have any resolution in it. Like there's a version of that story where Miles deals with the Spot and then reveals Miguel as the big bad going into 3. At least I would have some feeling of like, oh, he did the thing. Like, oh shit, no, it's even worse than you thought. But yeah, this does feel like it's going to need the other half to tell us the whole story.
Salvatore said it was 100% in the movie that the 42 spider was supposed to bite Alt Miles. I don't remember that, because I do remember him saying something about, I thought he said something, but no, he said when they were talking about the Peter Parker from Miles' world,
right?
Because in order for him to
right, like he died saving Miles because Miles was there. Like if you were never there, then that Peter doesn't die and remains the Spider-Man of your Earth.
Is that true?
Yeah, because I'd have to watch Into the Spider-Verse again, but I think it's because that Peter Parker, the Chris Pine Peter Parker, saves Miles, and by saving Miles, he exposes himself to getting the shit kicked out of him by
that's
the
right.
Green Goblin.
Swinging, and he got like the spider sense,
and right?
Back and shit. If that's the case, then fucking hats off to Lord and Miller for like. There's no way when they were writing that movie they knew they were going to do a fucking sequel.
Yeah.
That means they had to go back into their own fucking mythology and find these fucking moments on which to build an entire new mythology. These cats, man, are versatile as fuck. Versatile as fuck. God, I love that fucking movie. Somebody else wrote, why did they change Miles' dad's name? Did you notice that?
In the comics, his name was Jefferson Davis, and was married to Rio Morales. And I guess she gave Miles his last name, whatever. And then in this one, his name is now Jefferson Morales. And I don't know why they changed it. I don't know if there's some other story to be told there. It was always a thing that I sort of wondered, because it was like, oh, is Miles adopted, or is Miles not Jefferson Davis's son? Like, was Miles Morales Rio's son with another guy, and Miles is the adopted, and Jeff is the adopted father? But like, it seems as if maybe they don't want to leave that kind of ambiguity in it anymore, and so maybe they just they retconned it.
In the chat, we got a back and forth here. John James Rave says, it's a blink and you miss it when it shows Spider 42 in its universe creeping up on a Miles with braids. And then Delusional Patriots fan said, no, the 42 spider was supposed to bite 42 Peter. But then Nicholas Melillo says, in the scene where Spot is telling his origin with the spider, you can see the spider next to Miles, 42 Miles, and then the spider gets sucked into the wormhole. How closely did these people watch that fucking movie? What, you got a copy on home video? Like, how did you see that?
Given how much visual information this movie throws at you,
it's impossible. Like, there's one moment where I look forward to being able to pause the movie in the future, because when he's like first in the lobby of, fucking the Hall of Spiders or whatever the fuck on New Manhattan, or what is it called? Nueva York.
Mm-hmm.
They bang up all the names of the various fucking Spider-Men, and it's going so fast and it's so distant you can't fucking read them all. But to see this information, what'd you got? You guys must have been bitten by fucking radioactive spiders yourself to be able to catch that, man. Brett Flint says Jefferson didn't want him to have his father's last name.
Because Jefferson Davis is, yes, a Confederate general.
Alistair Campbell says, watch Lord and Miller's The Mitchells versus the Machines. Excellent animation and a great story and a really good film. Did you see that?
I did. It is wonderful. It is wonderful. It's very much, in the same regards of me being in my emotions about having a kid who's beginning to leave the nest. Mitchell's versus the Machines is about a family taking their daughter to drop her off at college for the first time. And I watched that with my son while on tours of colleges with him. And so I'm sitting there like crying in my Hyatt pillow while my son's like, that was fun, right? And that was great. I loved it so much. You're right, Dad. I'm fine.
Kay Blixt also points out that if Miles' name was Miles Davis, well.
Yes. Also super cool. But.
And then some people are trying to dim the light of others by saying like all this trivia. Salvatore says it's already all on TikTok and Reddit, basically. Brittany Nicole said a lot of it's from IMDb trivia. But somebody has to see this shit first.
Yeah.
And this movie literally just came out. I watched it 1.5 times and I couldn't have told you about that spider moment. There's so much visual information being thrown at you every second of this film. Like that would be really tough for me to pick up.
Yeah. I mean,
people that
and it's also like, I'm probably too old to be that granular with a movie like this anymore. And that's fine. Like, you know what, kids? Have fun with your finding the tiniest of Easter eggs. Tell me about it at the afternoon.
Alistair Campbell, I don't think understood us. He goes, it's on Netflix, Kevin.
Yeah, Mitchell versus Machines. Yes.
Netflix. I thought he meant fucking Spider-Verse. I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah, Cross the Spider-Verse.
It's on. I will check it out. Well, thank you, Alistair Campbell, and thank you, Marc, for explaining that. I was about to go hard on Alistair Campbell. Be like, don't tell me it's on Netflix. Don't be helpful. How dare you? How adorable was like when they were showing like the captured fucking anomalies and shit. Like these are from video games, and they had the Green Goblin from the fucking like Atari Superman game, like the 8-bit.
Yeah.
And how awesome was it to see what's his fuck?
Donald Glover as the Prowler.
Glover show up in the Prowler outfit, half a Prowler outfit with no mask. So they basically like visually referenced Tobey Maguire
and Andrew Garfield.
And they visually referenced Andrew Garfield, and they referenced Tom Holland by way of Donald Glover and the Prowler, and as well as that reference that Miguel makes about Doctor Strange and that little nerd from Earth, blah, 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 blah. So that you got to imagine that they're saving Tom Holland for the next one.
I mean, it would be amazing if they did.
If they didn't, that would be the amazing part. If they were like, fuck him. Like, of course he's going to be there. I mean, they got to save something for the fucking third one.
Yeah.
All that shit, that nerdy shit was fucking phenomenal and so deep cuts. I tell you, man, honestly, like I sat there watching that movie going like, why do I do what I do? Like I suck. I used to think I was a writer. I couldn't write this shit to save my life. But you made me feel better by being like, it ain't all that.
I mean, it's good, but it's still got some bumps.
I'm easy, bro. I don't know if anybody ever realized this, but my God, all you have to do is say Spider-Man in a movie. I'm like, Marc, it's brilliant. Give it an Oscar. That's why this Flash movie is going to make my fucking 50s, man. Michael Keaton as Batman? But what? Did you see the clip that they put up online of him talking about Superman? He's going, so there's a guy named Superman who could stop Zod. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, and he flies and he shoots lasers out of his eyes. And he goes, he flies and he shoots lasers out of his eyes. And he goes, and nobody thought to say, hey, Superman, that's a little on the nose. And then he's like, well, you call yourself Batman. He goes, yeah, I don't call myself Super Batman. I'm fucking there for it. I saw somebody on Twitter and be like, this is stupid. Fuck you. That's fantastic. And I've seen somebody on Twitter go like, give a review of the movie saying like, this movie is so like self-referential and fucking dick sucky on the DC universe and their own past movies. Good. Yes. That's what I want. Fuck yeah. I want Spider-Man No Way Home for the DC universe, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I look at the trailers and the little fucking spots for fucking Flash, and I'm like, I wouldn't even think to do this shit. This shit's so fucking nerdy and clever. It's beyond my capabilities. And I always thought I was nerdy and clever, but I'm about to be 53. So I'm an old man. All I can do is I can self-reference Kevin Smith. Boy, you want somebody to be clever about Kevin Smith movies, I'm your guy. But fucking, I couldn't do what these cats are doing, man. This is next level fucking storytelling. And, you know, if some people are like, well, that's not real writing, just referencing things that happened before. All writing is referencing things that happened literally. But, you know, this is just referencing some very specific shit. And if your fucking jam is that very specific shit, like Michael Keaton in Batman, like fucking Spider-Man, like fucking like by throwing up that 8-bit Green Goblin in a little jail cell, I was like, this is fucking crazy, wonderful. God bless these fucking, I don't know if there is a God, Mark, but if there is, I hope he fucking takes Lord and Miller straight to heaven, body and soul, like they did Blessed Mother. Like fucking, they don't get to rot in the ground. These fuckers should be canonized for telling fucking comic, like truly geeky comic book worthy stories for a mass audience. Like, you know, they've been doing this shit for years now, taking comic book stories and selling them to the mass audience. But this shit is so deep cuts and nooks and fucking crannies. I didn't even know there was a Spider-Punk. And these fuckers are like making it, not only bringing it in, but making it work in a way where I'm like, how have I missed Spider-Punk all this time?
Dear Internet, deliver unto me Spider-Punk material.
I got to tell you, man, I'm like, shit like this makes me happy I've lived this long and in this universe. If I was sucked out of fucking Universe 42, good, because fucking what's happening here is A-okay with me. I know we've had some fucking, you know, shitty years recently and fucking the world's falling apart and fucking things are horrible. But my God, the storytelling has really fucking shifted into a place where I'm satisfied. And I live in this world, so what do I give a fuck about the real world? I just stay out of it and shit. Fuck the real world. I live it. Fuck the universe. I'm living in the Spider-Verse. I'm living in the Bat-verse. I know it's a Flash movie, but let's be honest, it's Michael Keaton Batman movie.
I do think it's possible, and I don't think anybody's ever done this before, that each of these three movies could win the best Oscar in its category. In that best animated feature is the Oscar that these movies would win. The first one won it. This one could win it. The third one can win it. And I don't think a trilogy has ever pulled that feat before. Maybe with the exception of like the Toy Story movies, might have hit like 1, 2, and 3 won the best feature in its year. But like the Godfather movies haven't all won Best Picture. You know, like the best movies ever made, you know, as a series have never each of them gotten that highest honor.
And look, let's be honest, man. Let's put it on Front Street and shit. There is no such thing as a best picture. There is no such thing as the greatest movie ever made. Every movie is the greatest movie ever made to somebody. Like, don't matter what it is. Could be Joanna Man. That is somebody's favorite fucking movie above everything else. And fucking, and maybe even save their life. So there is, across the fucking multiverse, every movie that gets made is somebody's fucking favorite movie and stuff. So whenever they're like, this is the best and the gold standard, you know, whatever. Because at the end of the day, as a guy who's made movies that nobody likes, I have to believe, Mark, that every movie is somebody's favorite movie. And that's fucking true. So you know, in the age of social media, what's been very disheartening is to find out how many people don't like something that I love so much and believe must be universally beloved. But at the same time, I don't pin my fucking personality on it. So if some motherfucker wants to be like, Spider-Verse blows, I'm like, I get it. It ain't for you. You're missing out on some fucking magic. because it is for me. You know, it's just like they told me when I was at fucking the Nut House, when I was in Sierra Tucson, and I was talking about, you know, being in a line of work where it's like some people fucking love you and some people hate you and hate what you make and shit like that. And I've spent like an inordinate amount of time over the last 30 years trying to get the people who don't like me, to see my stuff a different way, to validate me, whatever the fuck. And Kelly Parks, who is my trauma therapist, she goes, what's your favorite ice cream? And I was like, Oatly makes this oat milk chocolate ice cream, which is fucking amazing. And that was the base of the peanut butter shake that I had from fucking Plant Power, was that Oatly fucking shit. Oatly vanilla, and then they put peanut butter in. I said, but that Oatly chocolate shit, like I'll eat it all fucking day. Like it's beautiful. You know, for those that don't know, I'm a vegan. I ain't trying to convince you, so get off my dick. But like, I don't have access to the full world of ice cream anymore because I got a heart condition. That's why I went vegan, not because I'm fucking woke or whatever the fuck. But I want to wake every morning, and so I fucking went vegan. So I said, this Oatly chocolate's my favorite. And she goes, okay. She goes, what's your least favorite ice cream in the world? And without hesitation, Mark, I was like, oh, fucking rum raisin. Fuck it. Fuck it to death. Why? Who puts raisins in ice cream? Like, what a way to ruin fucking something wonderful, man. You might as well put rabbit fucking shit in it as well. And then she goes, have you ever had rum raisin? And I was like, no. Because why would I eat something with raisins in it? Why would I don't even eat Raisin Bran, let alone why would I eat ice cream that has two things I don't fucking ingest? Rum and fucking raisins. So no, I've never had rum raisin. Fuck it. And she's like, okay, all you need to remember for the rest of your life to navigate this world is that you will always be somebody's rum raisin, Kevin. Like, they're not even going to taste you. You're just not their fucking ice cream. They just don't want you. It's going, but you're going to be a lot of people's fucking, what is your favorite? I said, Oatly chocolate. She's like, you're going to be a lot of people's Oatly chocolate. And just accept that and move on. And that fucking changed my life. You know, that's a golden nugget of information that has made life more easy to navigate for me. Understanding that, like, same vitriolic reaction I had to rum raisin, where I was like, what do you fucking, I hate it. And I'd never taste it. Same fucking thing, man. I will always be somebody's rum raisin. I don't know how, but the Spider-Verse will be somebody's fucking rum raisin. The Flash with Michael Keaton as Batman, let's just call it the Michael Keaton as Batman movie, will be somebody's rum raisin. It is confounding to me, but that's just the way it is. Some people will never even fucking bother trying it and shit. And that's true of every fucking movie. So every movie is somebody's favorite fucking movie, and every movie is somebody's fucking rum raisin. And the key to life is to not give a fuck if somebody's like, ew, that shit's rum raisin. It's like, right on, moving on. Fucking sucks to be you, because I find magic in it. I find that shit tasty. And if you don't, like, I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. Like, that's what social media has become. A bunch of people trying to convince other people that they're fucking right. There is no fucking right, and there is no fucking wrong. It's all a matter of fucking personal taste. We're not in competition with one another. We're all on the same fucking plane. There's no goddamn ladder, and nobody's more right than fucking somebody else, except the people who are into like Nazis and shit. Those fuckers are wrong. But like, when it comes to art, Mark,
right? Proviso, Nazis are always wrong.
When it comes to art and appreciating fun things, you know, if you don't like it, like, I'm not saying I pity you and you're a fucking idiot, but it's like, all right, that's not where your joy is held. Perhaps your joy is held someplace that it's not for me. This movie is not my fucking rum raisin. It is definitely my fucking chocolate Oatly. And I'll put peanut butter in that shit and eat it all day long. And I bet you the Flash is going to be that as well. I'm telling you right now, even if every second of the Flash fucking sucks, except for the seconds that Michael Keaton is playing Batman, I'll forgive. I know it's like 2 hours and change, and somebody's like, Michael Keaton's only in 50 minutes of it. I'm like, only? We were never going to have Michael Keaton back as Batman. That was it. We had seen every fucking possible second of Michael Keaton as Batman stories. And now, through some fucking shift in the universe, we get a whole other chapter to his Batman. I'm fucking beside myself happy about this shit. In any event, Little Mermaid's long. There, I said it.
Said it. I don't remember. We were you were a Ted Lasso kid, right? Like you got back on
Oh, I
board.
fucking love Ted Lasso.
I couldn't remember if that was a thing during the pandemic that I was like, you should watch this. And you said I will, and then you never did. Which happens occasionally.
Yeah.
But
I did watch it. I can't. I don't know if you were the one who told me to watch it. Did I watch? No, you. I think you did watch it before me.
yeah, because I remember talking about it on the cast, and you're like, oh, I've never.
Jen, I was like, hey, Mark said this was good. There were two things during the pandemic. Remember, what was the other movie with the guy with the motorcyclists and fucking Matt Mickelson, Mag.
Oh, Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, the fucking name was that one. But it was basically he's playing the Punisher.
Yes. And I was like, Mark says this movie's good. My wife was like, look, I like Mark, but like this looks fucking bad. But fucking, we both loved it. And I was like, I'll watch anything Mark says. Even if Mark was like, I found your own snuff film in which you die, I'd be like, Mark says it's good. So we should probably give it a try.
He says the third act has a big twist.
Yeah.
You'll never see it coming. How did you feel about the finale to Ted Lasso?
Beautiful. I cried through it. It was fucking wonderful. I hated to see it end. I understand how it ended. I think it's ballsy as fuck to use that Cat Stevens song in a world where, you know, fucking it was defined by Guardians of the Galaxy. But that's how good Ted Lasso is and how confident they are of themselves. Where they're like, yeah, we know this is the Guardians ending song, but we're going to fucking do it too because this song pre-exists the Guardians and it really works for this. They gave them a bit of the Bad News Bears ending, and the Bad News Bears prepared me from that from age 6, as did Rocky, but the Bad News Bears went before Rocky, if I remember correctly. They might be the same year. The idea that your hero will not always fucking win, or your heroes. So, you know, they get to, I can't do fucking soccer, football, whatever the fuck, but they get their division title. Is that it? But then they don't even bother showing them not winning the other thing.
Right.
But, you know, there's a bittersweet edge to it there and whatnot. But it was never about football. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing's predicated on fucking footy, as they call it over there. Let's just say soccer because we're in America. But it was never about soccer. Just like the Bad News Bears isn't really about fucking baseball at the end of the day. It's just set in the world of. So that aspect alone about like watching their unlikely rise this season and even all the seasons of Ted Lasso with the background of fucking soccer/football was never the point. The point of that was always about this guy's journey, this guy who was hired as a fucking joke. And then the magic that he brought to that fucking team, how that individual was brought to a place under, one might almost say, cruel pretenses, and was such a powerful force for good that he changed everybody's life for the better by the time he leaves it, so much so that nobody wants him to fucking go. It's a beautiful humanistic story. And every episode, you know, there were some that were softer than others and stuff, but I would say 90% of those episodes were instant fucking classics throughout the run of their show. And I think the series finale falls into that category as well. It had a deep landing to stick in order for you to feel okay about fucking what happens in the end. And they were able to do it, I felt. I thought it was beautiful. Nothing really shocking. I wasn't like, I can't believe they fucking pulled that off. They picked a lane that I love to travel in and stayed with it. Like they can legit make you laugh in that show with some dirty shit. And it has the purest fucking heart. And that's where I've tried to make my living for like the last 30 years. So I was geared up to like this show already. And they just did such a wonderful fucking job. You know, I'm sad to see it go, but I'm okay. Like, you know, we can always watch the reruns and shit like that. But I'm okay that they chose to go out, especially the way they did. It was so fucking beautiful and touching, you know, and fucking like they gave us some unforgettable characters. You know, Roy Kent is a fucking character for the ages. You know, in his journey, the show was never about him. And yet at the same time, watching his journey was a big part of what that show was. You know, it had magical fucking moments throughout the run of that show, including the dart game in season 1, I think it was, with Rupert.
Barbecue sauce.
And that fucking was paid off, you know, as Ted was watching. Just when they got the last goal, he was like, barbecue sauce, and fucking bam, it wasn't. I thought, who did that show? Bill, what?
Bill Lawrence. And
I was
then
not a Scrubs guy, so I wasn't familiar with. Was Scrubs anything like this? Did it have a lot of heart?
it had a ton of heart. You know, it was funny at times, 100%, but there was always the underbelly of Scrubs was, you know, here's what it's like to be young and hungry and broke, but loving what you're doing and loving the opportunity to help change lives. And it would get very serious at times. It would be also, it was very Parks and Recreation that way also, where Parks and Rec was very much like, we're going to tell this knucklehead story about these knucklehead civil servants, and it's going to be very, very funny, but we are not going to be afraid to like go deep on these characters and their love for each other and their love for the place that they live in. And I think, you know, Mike Schur, who did Parks and Rec, would always say, if we made you laugh for 22 minutes, we've earned 4 or 5 minutes of emotion. Like, and if you can't give us that, then you just don't like the show. And so I think Ted Lasso is very much in that mold of like, we're going to make you laugh. But, you know, the core of it was always the relationship between these people and who they could be if they allowed a little Ted into their lives. And how he changes everybody, almost everybody, for the better, you know, and helps them on their way. I love the finale also. You know, it sticked most of the landings that I would have wanted it to stick. The one quibble I had, you know, for most of the season, was the Nate story, which I was here for. Like, yeah, make Nate a bad guy. Like, I get it. Like, he's a self-loathing person. Like, the incel is high. Like, all of that stuff was real. But the quickness with which he was reaccepted by AFC Richmond was a little fast for me. A lot of it is off screen. Like, all of us players voted and we'd like to have you come back. I said, well, what about Ted? I don't know why suddenly Nate is Paul McCartney.
I know, really. Why'd you go all Liverpoolian?
I made him a Liverpoolian.
Beard was the one that kind of functioned as the last holdout in that instance, when he kind of showed up at Nate's place and then gave his secret origin for why he was so
right, which is beautiful, which is great. You know, I think you could have stepped all of that stuff back so that by the time you end the show, you end it with him finally being you end it with the hug with Ted, right? You end it with the, like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what, like, he doesn't say more than I'm sorry, Ted, and he forgives him. But Nate being welcomed back as soon as he was a little, it felt like you were forcing it a little bit to give everybody a happy ending. But no, I was down for it. Like, it's a fairy tale at the end of the day. Somebody online, I think the Ted Lasso finale has been analyzed almost as much as Across the Spider-Verse is being analyzed. But there was one person who was like, it's the Wizard of Oz. Like, Ted is wearing the red shoes that Dorothy wears. Ted, like, Beard is his Toto. Like, there's literally the Legos of the Yellow Brick Road. Like, he's putting together Legos of the AFC Richmond stuff. Like, it's all kind of there. So it was a fairy tale. For it to end the way it ended, a little bit bitter, but mostly very, very sweet. For Rebecca to run into her weird, you know, Amsterdam, you know, sort of one night, not really stand thing, like just at an airport, you know, like, get a name, suddenly we're gonna have a life together. The family that she'd been prophesied by the Furies in the beginning of the season, like, all that stuff is super, super sweet. And I don't begrudge a show for being sweet.
I put you on mute because they're doing some work right outside my office. If you hear like a high pitch, I wanted to interrupt what you were saying. Somebody in the chat said something. Tom C said the most important lesson was that he had to learn to make time to take care of himself, Ted. And that's what they tried to teach me when I was in Sierra Tucson. Like, put your mask on before you help somebody else put their mask on. Like, you're no good to anybody unless you're good to yourself first. And Ted was a people pleaser. You know, Ted put everybody before himself, and because of his father's story that had a lot to do with it. I thought the episode with his mom was really beautiful.
Yeah.
For that reason alone, where he got to address, like, you know, where he's just like, I love you and fuck you, and I love you and fuck you. Because she kind of, her reaction to her husband / his father's death shaped the rest of Ted's life. And, you know, made him who he is in a great way, but also made him who he is in the ways that he would like to change as well. You don't know. It's crazy being a parent because you have no idea how you're going to fuck up your kid until it's all done. And it's never all done, because in a moment, what looks like, oh shit, what I taught my kid fucked them up, years later could be not that at all. You know, I don't have that fraught relationship with my parents. When I was in the nut house, they try to get at your parents because that's generally where most people, you know, fucking fall off the rails and shit. But I couldn't point to a single thing that my parents did that like fucked me up, other than model an impossibly fucking good marriage for me, where I was like, oh, well, that's what I'm supposed to do, and that's how I'm supposed to be. And I don't even fault them for that. So like, it's always tough for me when, you know, characters like, oh, my parents fucked me up. But I thought Ted Lasso handled that very well. In the case of his dad, it's very easy to see how, you know, that could affect him. But him kind of going at his mom, I bristled at a little bit, but completely understood. Wonderful storytelling in that entire show. A lot of people in chat are pointing to Shrinking, you know, which is Bill Lawrence's new show on Apple that he does with Brett Goldstein, Roy Kent himself. That's got Harrison Ford in it and Jason Segel. Have you fucked with that yet?
I haven't yet. I haven't fucked with much of Apple's content, and not for, you know, not because I have any real thing against it, just whatever reason, like it just never, I'm never the guy who just like, oh, I'll just let it run. Show me the next thing. I'm always bouncing out of the app. So yeah, I've never tried Shrinking. I haven't tried Silo, which I'm curious about. I haven't tried Slow Horses, which I'm also very curious about. This Gary Oldman spy thing. Yeah, it's my fault, really. It's not their fault.
Reggie Extra One says, I was never complimented, never supported. Here, man, I'm going to compliment you and support you right now. That's brave to admit. And I support you. Unless you're like, you know, fucking the white race is the master race or whatever fuck. Like, then I don't support that shit. Or if you're like, let's hunt children, you know, I don't support that. My compliment to you is like, is bold to fucking talk about that. And that's where it begins. Healing begins with admitting or talking about what you feel your loss was. And then you start rebuilding from there. You can do this, kid.
You got it.
In chat, they said, this is Ford's best acting in years on that show, Shrinking. A lot of people saying Shrinking is great and we should watch Shrinking. And the Langley M. Neely says Apple is replacing Max sans HBO for me. Most of their stuff is amazing. I know we got to go soon because I think JC's got shit to do. Banff, man, you got to get out or something like that. Banff in here. And
yeah, I've got trivia tonight.
What time?
To host. I probably got half hour left.
Let's do we'll start wrapping up. We can't fuck with a man's livelihood. Banff man's got right tonight. If you're in the Los Angeles area in Hollywood, you go down to the Scum Villainy Cantina on Hollywood Boulevard. Banff man's doing some goddamn trivia, man. Ain't nothing more fun than getting sauced up and being like, fucking season 2 of Foundation, you know, fucking whatever. Like that's the kind of thing it is, right, Banff man?
Yeah, I write all of it, so it's all pop culture. It's not like when you go in and they quiz you entirely about sports or the Bible or history of Western civilization. It's all pop culture stuff.
Do you think there are pub quizzes where it's all about the Bible?
No, but when you go in, it's a lot of like Jeopardy questions. So you get a lot of Bible, a lot of like history of world civilization, stuff like that. And my categories tonight are Rotten Tomatoes 2011 edition. So I go in and I pull movie descriptions from Rotten Tomatoes, and I take the names out, and you have to guess what movie it is. Then I've got a John Williams round. And then I always do a what's the connection, where I ask 9 random questions, and then if you get all the answers right, it connects in a strange way.
Now you're just showing off how big your dick is. Look
So
what
it's
I
fun.
can do. Ben Wellington in chat says, JC runs a great trivia game. His May the 4th questions were rough. Justin Hickman says, the new Ahsoka trailer just dropped on the NBA playoffs. Any thoughts? I didn't see it. Did you?
I think
Me
we were
neither.
doing the show. Did it just
Although I know
happen?
they did reveal the release date, which I think is August 23rd.
August 23rd, yeah.
Liz Gonzalez in chat says, Kevin and Mark, please wish me a happy birthday. It's on the 29th. Happy birthday, Liz.
Happy birthday, Liz. Should we do our last ad before we
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good point, man. That's all right. We got to pay our bills, kids. And our final ad of the evening before we dive into everything else, we want to thank. We couldn't be having this discussion. We would literally be silent were it not for the good folks at Bluechew, ladies and gentlemen. How well does Bluechew work? You get a month free, so you might as well try it. You're going to like it, and so will your partner. Bluechew, man. This episode is sponsored by Bluechew. Let's talk about sex, baby. Guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? And when I say go, I mean fuck. Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up. Bluechew.com. BLUECHEW.com, man. Bluechew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. Have you ever sat there and been like, God, it cost me a lot of money to get a hard-on? Well, fucking Bluechew is like, we're going to save you a few bucks, man. You can take them anytime, day or night. So you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. So you get it? The process is simple, kids. Sign up at Bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations where you're like, my dick won't get hard. And he's like, all right, calm down. And no waiting in line at the pharmacy. God, I hate that. Nothing I hate in this world more than waiting in line at a fucking pharmacy.
with a soft dick?
Oh, with a very soft dick that I'm like, when will it get hard? Bluechew's tablets are made in the USA, God damn it. They're patriotic and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a very discreet package. In the current version of the brown paper wrapper that you used to get a Playboy magazine in when I was a child. And Marvel Comics, to be fair. Marvel Comics would ship in a plain brown wrapper as well. No backing board. Literally just wrapped in fucking paper. It's dead, wrapped in paper. You could be missing out on the best sex of your life, and you probably are. With Bluechew, men everywhere are excited to see the postman, because when your packages arrive, your package has arrived. This is some good-ass writing, man. This is better than fucking Spider-Verse writing. They always say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? You want to be remembered for your cocksmanship. Bluechew.com. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Bluechew can help give you confidence where it counts. In your hard dick. Take over, Mark.
So, Bluechew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at bluechew.com. Chew it and do it. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Bluechew free when you use our promo code FATMAN at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, BLUECHEW.com, promo code FATMAN to receive your first month free.
That's right. When you chew Bluechew, man, your fucking dick is like Roy Kent. It's here, it's there, it's every fucking where. Bluechew.com, kids. They're the sponsors of the back half of the show. So give them a try, man. Somebody must be trying them on this show, because they're continuing to be a sponsor. They've been a sponsor for like well over 2 years at this point, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So for as many people in chat who are like, I wouldn't do that. I mean, there are a bunch of people who do it. Fucking
Non-discreetly, getting their dick hard.
Exactly. They're like, fucking, I ain't here for the Spider-Man talk. I want to hear how to cure my fucking soft dick. Bluechew.com, folks. How well did Bluechew work? You get a month free. So you might as well try it. You're going to like it, and so will your partner. Bluechew.com is the place to be, kids. And we thank the good folks at Bluechew for sponsoring the back half, the sexy half of Fat Man Beyond this week. Thank you, Bluechew.
Gobble, gobble.
That's what she said. Thank you. Okay.
Bamf.
Yeah.
I have some news because people ask me all the time. And I don't think we talked about it. Did we talk about it last show? Galactic Starcruiser is closing.
Yeah.
We did.
In September. I got a reservation for the second to last check-in date.
You're going?
I called around, I cashed in some favors, and I'm going the second to last. So I'm going end of September.
How much is it costing? How much?
It is, my room for me and two other people is $6,000
Holy the fuck.
for like 2 nights. But
who are the other two people? Your wife and child?
no. Which there's a funny story.
No.
No.
Wilding out in the Galactic Starcruiser with Jason.
Who's going instead?
My friend Elliot, who's a massive Star Wars fan, and my friend Jazz, who lives in Norway, who overslept and missed his flight to Star Wars Celebration London, so he's gonna come over here and spend that money on this instead.
Well, fucking JC, if you're gonna go on the Galactic Starcruiser with two guys, Bluechew.com where you're gonna have to visit, my friend. Tell you what, so $6,000 for the fucking stay. Your portion is $2,000. I got you covered. I'm gonna give you $2,000, man. So it ain't gonna cost you dick because I know you always wanted to go, and I said I would fucking pay for you to go.
I appreciate that.
I got you covered.
It's funny. I was so excited when I got the email that I got on. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And Jen was in the kitchen, and Joss and I were sitting having lunch at the dining room table. And she goes, Dada, are you taking Mom on your trip? I was like, actually, honey, no, I'm not. She goes, oh.
Is that kid like talking now? Real sentences and shit?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. She's like a little human. She's 2.5, but she's really just
a little human,
herself.
a little human with a lot of common sense to be like,
Yeah.
I'm going on this trip, and you're like, no, I'm bringing Jazz for some reason.
You've never met him, but he's Norwegian and cool.
To be fair, I asked Jen first. I said, do you want to go on this? And she goes, no, it's okay if you take a boys trip.
Bro, that's a trick. What are you, fucking new to this world? Anytime a woman says no, you know what she means? Yeah, I better be going on the Galactic Starcruiser. You're going to pay for this shit when you come home.
Her follow-up was, do you think I want to go spend 3 days in a hotel without windows?
You know what? She's got a fucking point.
I was like, it looks out into space. There's windows. We're in space.
She wants to. All she has to do is like turn on the TV and stare at it for 3 days, and same effect.
She wants to go to Harry Potter World out there, so that we'll do that at some point.
Well, I ain't paying for that, but I will pay for you to go to Galactic Starcruiser. I want full fucking reportage, which we were going to get anyway.
I will. I'm going crazy though. I've commissioned like 5 or 6 costumes to bring. I'm going all in.
Damn.
I'm gonna be in Star Wars for 3 days. Like dress it, play it, the whole thing. Yeah,
you're gonna be like fucking Baron Harkonnen in the latest Dune, man. Just dip yourself in Star Wars oil.
But nobody. I mean, there's never gonna be anything like this again. So like, I gotta try. I gotta see how it is. It's true.
They fucking tried it and it didn't work, so they're canceling that shit. So. Good for you, man. That's awesome. We were on the last show we were talking about like how you missed it and shit, but you didn't miss it after all.
I weaseled my way in right at the finish line.
Dreams do come true. Fucking, and now you can answer that immortal question. JC, You just got the last seat on the Galactic Starcruiser. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disneyland. They're connected, one and the same. Well, that's fucking awesome, man. Good for you.
Congrats.
Too bad, like, you're going to come back, blow this thing with 2 fucking hands, and they're not going to be able to sell any tickets off of it.
And nobody else will get to go. Somebody asked, isn't Disney known for being super shitty about people bringing their costumes? You can do it on the Starcruiser. I have a couple people who come into the bar who I'm acquaintances with, who I guess somebody from overseas with lots and lots of money paid them to wear their full costumes and go with them as part of their voyage. So my friends were posting all of these photos of them like dressed like Greedo and all of this stuff on the Galactic Starcruiser for 2 days. And they had their flight, the Starcruiser trip, and they got paid each like $500 a day to go on this trip with these rich guys so that the rich guys could fill out the Starcruiser with Star Wars aliens. How crazy is that?
That is, I want that kind of money. Me and Marc are out of work writers. We could use that kind of money.
I got no scratch.
I'll dress up like whatever fuck they want. Porkins, a fucking Padme, whatever. I'll do
French
it.
maid, you got it.
Yeah. French made in space. Check you out, man. That's good news. That's good ass news.
That's all I thought about for
chat
weeks.
are commenting on the Skeletor painting behind me. Came from Tim Sheridan, one of our co-writers on Masters of the Universe Revolution, and my co-writer on Masters of the Universe Revelation, the sequel series coming soon.
Did he paint that or did he just buy it?
He hand painted that shit. No, he just bought it. It's not even a painting. It's like a print. So you could probably Google naked ass Skeletor and probably find it online or something. But it's a wonderful piece. All the art has come off my walls because, as I said earlier, we're getting ready to sell the house and stuff. And it's got to get painted. You see all the fucking nail holes in this fucker. I pity the fool. Literally, I'm not even referencing Mr. T, but I pity the fool who has to pull all these nails out, fill them holes before the painting even begins. But that piece did not go anywhere. I need it. Sexy. That's my jerk off piece right there. I pop a Bluechew and I'm like,
Hey.
and then Bluechew gets a free ad out of that fucking shit. All right. I just got lost. I was reading the fucking chat.
Do we want to hit a couple quick questions?
We should, man. We should.
All right.
We do that. And I should remind folks before we do that, this weekend, if you're in Texas, come see me at Fan Expo Dallas. Me and Muse going to be there. We're doing Jay and Silent Bob Get Old on Friday night. We're taking pictures on Friday. We're taking pictures on Saturday. We're signing shit. And then 2 weeks after that, me and a whole bunch of fucking VSQ folks are going to be in Michigan at Astronomicon. It's like fucking, that's Jen's first con, my Jen. She's going to be there and shit. Jennifer's like, nobody wants to see me. I was like, you've been in 9 fucking movies. Like, you've been in more movies than some people who fucking live at these cons. So you can come. Her, me, my kid, Brian O'Halloran, Jeff Anderson, my other child, Jason Mewes. I think Jason Lee's at that con. I know for a fact Jason Lee's at that con as well. So come on out to Astronomicon if you're in the Michigan area. That's 2 weeks from this weekend. And if you want to see all those people on the high seas, well, have you looked into Jay and Silent Bob's Cruise Askew? That's happening next February 2024, man. We're going to go from Miami to the Bahamas. Marc's going to be on that cruise, aren't you, Marc?
I will be. My first ever cruise.
You've never been on a boat before?
Nope.
I went to Alaska once with my wife. 11 days.
Too much.
Ooh, look, I would have preferred to be on the Galactic Starcruiser looking at a fucking TV screen for 3 days. 11 days is too much. By day 7, we were like, we get it. And we still had 4 more days to go. But go to Jay and Silent Bob's cruiseaskew.com or cruiseaskew.com. I don't know where it is. You go to csmod.com. There's probably a listing for it. But come join us. February 2024, man. It's cheaper than that fucking Star Wars fucking cruise. I'll tell you that. And unlike the Star Wars cruise, it exists still next year.
Come on. You look out the windows, you see what's out the windows.
We got Hollywood Babylon on the high seas. We got Fat Man Beyond on the high seas. We got Jay and Silent Bob Get Old on the high seas. We got Education with Andy McElfish on the high seas. Plus, all your favorite stars from fucking View Askew movies and shit like that. Me, Jay, Dante, Randall, fucking so many more. They're announcing 2 new ones this week who are absolute gets, as well as a band that is an absolute get. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, pay attention this week when they announce fucking the new additions, and I guarantee you're gonna be like, you're gonna make it rain.
Am I reading between the lines and the band is New Edition?
That's right. We're getting the original lineup too, man. Bobby Brown's gonna be there. No, we do not have New Edition. I am not that fucking powerful. I can't even pull Belle Biv DeVoe, let alone New Edition.
Oh, Boys to Men.
Now you know. Slick.
Blow.
And then if you're in the New Jersey area, well, if you're in California, June 19th, me and Marc are going to be doing Fat Man Beyond at the Cantina right there in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard, the Scum Villainy Cantina. And if you're in New Jersey, July 15th, 16th, and 17th, come watch The Flash with me every night at 7 o'clock. I'm going to do Q&A. We're going to do auctions. You can win some cool shit. And when I say win, I mean buy. And then don't forget, July 1st, we're doing Bears Driving at Smodcastle, the Clerks Cartoon Marathon with Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson. July 29th, we're celebrating my birthday by reading the Superman Lives script at Smodcastle. And August 25th, me and Marc are going to be at Smodcastle, rocking Fat Man Beyond live in New Jersey again. Had such a good time in March. A lot of tickets already sold for that fucker, man. So don't hesitate. Get your ticket now. And then August 26th, if you have not had enough of me and Marc, well, come to our double feature, our Tim Curry double feature, man. Keep Calm and Curry On, where we're going to watch not 1, but 2 Tim Curry movies back to back with a Q&A fucking sandwiched in between. That's Clue at first, and then Legend after that. 2 great Tim Curry movies for the price of 1. Come on out. All the action is at smodcastlecinemas.com. All right, Banff, man. Let's take their questions.
All right, Banff. First question from Graham Bliley. What spider entity would you be, and from what kind of universe?
Define this question.
Meaning, like, if you were to be, like, Spider-Man Noir or Spider-Punk, what spider entity would you be, and what would the universe look like that you're from? Lego Spider-Man.
I would be Silent Spider-Man. That's where I take my fucking IP, Silent Bob, and I cross him with fucking Spider-Man. And basically the character talks like he used to talk on the Electric Company. He don't speak, he thinks, and they put word balloons over his head. Whoop! And then you'll see his thought. He'd be wearing a long trench coat and shit. He would have a backwards baseball cap, long hair. He'd have a beard sticking out of his spider mask and shit. Silent Spider Bob. That's what it would fucking be. And it'd be set in the across the Askewniverse. Fucking he would interact with Jay would be my Green Goblin or my Gwen Stacy. I'm not quite sure. Or my fucking Mary Jane, let's be honest. Let's see. Fucking Dante and Randall would be my I don't know who they'd be, but they'd all be there, kids, because here's my chance to cross my IP, intellectual property, with Marvel's IP. They'll make action figures and shit like that. Silent Spider Bob could be as big as fucking Spider-Punk. I'll tell you that right now.
Nice.
Lord and Miller, call me. I know how we can make $1 billion.
Ringle dingle.
Spider Bob. I know there are a lot of talented artists listening. Somebody fucking tweet up that silent Spider Bob variant, and I will fucking retweet that shit and make you famous for 12 minutes on the internet.
I don't have anything quite that good. I feel like, however, like armchair Spider-Man detective at large would be kind of cool, where he just never leaves his smoking room. He wears a robe and a pipe.
Changes the TV channel.
Yeah, like I think your problem is you didn't account for the fact that gravity operates differently in this world. Go catch him, Chief O'Hara, or Captain Stacy, or whatever your name is. That's all I do. Sit in an armchair and give advice to the real detectives. And then use my webs to like get the DoorDash food from the front door.
There's your answer, kids. Also, we should point out that the Flash, the CW is the Flash. The Arrowverse fucking ended. It's over.
It's done.
I'm not gonna say it's never happening again because you know in this best of all possible worlds, everything fucking comes back. Michael Keaton is back as Batman. So if that's the case, you may indeed one day see Grant Gustin as the Flash again, and the Arrowverse may breathe again. But they did end after 9 seasons. They went out. They referenced the episode that I made with the great Zach Stentz. He wrote the script called what was the dinosaur thing? The something.
Oh yeah.
Runaway dinosaur. Like at one point, you know, Barry's talking to his baby, and they showed the book and stuff, the little baby book of the runaway dinosaur. I've got great, wonderful memories of working on The Flash. I got great, wonderful memories of watching it. You can watch. It don't even have to be remembered. There's video of me online watching the finale of season 1, crying like a fucking child. It was so beautiful, and I aggregated from fan to working on that fucking show. And got to meet my heroes in real life, and help tell the story back in seasons, I think 2 and 3. So yeah, man, it's all great things come to an end, and that came to an end. The Flash had his final run on TV just in time for the Flash to start his run at the box office. So we salute the Berlanti-verse, which really fucking, for a while there was doing the Lord's work, man. Like, now we live in a world where multiverse is a cinematic term, and fucking we're going to see, from what I've heard in the new Flash movie, some amazing fucking shit involving movies that never even happened. They're going to reference as Flash races across time. But I'll never fucking forget seeing, Flash run and catching a glimpse of the Flash Museum. Like, that was fucking mind-bending to me. I'll never fucking forget Tom Cavanaugh as Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, sitting in his cell, fucking telling him, "So run, Barry, run." Show had such wonderful fucking moments and episodes, and yeah, it came to an end. So congratulations to all my Flash friends, in front of the camera and behind the camera. The folks who kept that show, made them run every episode over and over again. We salute you. You did the Lord's work, man. Now, rest easy, speedsters. By the end of that show, everybody could run fast.
Everybody's running.
Felt like everybody got a superpower and shit. But that's what happens when you go 9 fucking seasons. Grant Gustin must be rich as fuck, right? Like,
if he spent his money well and invested wisely and saved with dedication, he should be comfortable.
He deserves. Somebody better put him in something cool. And I'm not. People be like, "You cast him." I don't make anything fucking good. Let's be honest. I make Kevin Smith shit. He deserves better after spending 9 years in a cement block, fucking telling you Flash stories. Somebody better give that guy something good. He got married and has a family now. He's a fucking dad. Flash is a father and shit, just like he was on the show. So yes, the Flash ended, and here we give it its due. Thank you, speedsters, and the Berlanti-verse, and aka the Arrowverse to others and shit. He ran the longest. Flash was the longest running of all those shows.
Yeah,
Unintended.
9 seasons. That's a hell of a way to go.
I met some wonderful friends, man, through that fucking show. You know, people I still work with to this day, for heaven's sakes. You know, and I will. That show came along at a perfect time in my life where that was where I started opening up. Like I was always pretty emotionally open, but I just didn't wear my heart on my sleeve and didn't show fucking people. And that was the show where I was like, fucking, I don't give a shit if it makes me cry. I'm gonna fucking show the internet that. And it got me a job, bitch. So anybody who's like, fucking don't cry on the internet, fuck you. I got to direct Flash 3 fucking times because I cried on the internet, man. So I don't give a fuck if I'm your rum raisin. I got to direct the Flash because I cried. Reference to an earlier part of the show. All right, Banff, man, give us some more questions.
Banff. Okay, keeping with the Spider-Verse theme, this is ear mixing for both Kevin and Marc. If you could come up with alternate universe versions of Jay and Silent Bob, what do they look like? So pick a different universe, and you have to like redress them the way that they do with Spider-Man.
In the mirror universe, they fucking dress like each other. So Jay wears the long coat. Silent Bob wears sweatpants or track pants. I mean, here, how about in the cold universe, they wear snow variants. So you know how Han Solo had the fucking parka thing?
Mm-hmm.
That's what fucking Silent Bob wears on Hoth. Those are his Hoth fatigues. Jay's got his Bespin fatigues. He's wearing like khakis and shit like that. No cap whatsoever. I don't know. This is a tough one for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you can do tropical fucking Jay and Silent Bob where Jay's wearing, you know, like fucking bunny bathing suit shorts and or a thong. He'd probably wear a thong. Jay feels like a thong dude. And Silent Bob is still wearing an overcoat, but he's got shorts on, which he already has, and fucking sandals, you know, for the sand.
Makes sense. All right, Banff, man, come on back. We didn't get a lot of that.
I would do Sherlock Holmes and Watson, Jay and Silent Bob, and they speak with British accents and solve mysteries, but in their hijinksy way.
Fuck, dude, that's good. No wonder you picked the question. You had an answer. Well done. Well, then in that world, I pick fucking biblical Jay and Silent Bob, where, you know, they're like fucking helping Jesus out of jams and shit like that. They get him off the cross.
So, like Life of Brian, Jay and Silent Bob.
They fucking they show up at the crucifixion with a ladder and a pair of pliers. The Sam Kinison once joked. They fucking pull Jesus down, and then fucking Oscar Isaac says some alternate Jesus shows up, and he's like, "You can't do that. Some things are canon." Wasn't it fucked up how the villain, technically in the Spider-Man movie, was like all the people who like Marvel editorial, like who've told the same fucking story over and over again, like because they're like, you can't change some shit. Uncle Ben's got to die. Captain Stacy's got to die and shit. I thought that was kind of funny. All right. Somebody said Penn and Teller crossover with Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah, man, that's it.
The
biblical Jay and Silent Bob. Are we talking about Dogma? I guess I've done it already. You're absolutely right. But hey, I've retread myself before. We just came out with Clerks 3, for heaven's sakes. So
all right, last question.
Last question.
Study says Judas and Jesus into the Judas verse.
How many people can he betray?
All right, last question of the night. This is going to send us home, kids. Hope you had a good time.
This is from Crispy Burrell. If the guys could put together a band musical group comprised of only comic characters, who would be in the band and what genre of music would they play? So you're building.
Ask another question. That ain't fun for me. Ask a question we could fucking answer, man. Like, does anybody have a trivia question or some shit? I don't want to think of alternate meat, fucking animal bands and shit. Come on, something else.
Let's see. A lot of multiverse questions tonight. Let's try.
Right?
What
It's in the
sequel?
air.
What sequel or reboot? What sequel, reboot, or update that no one asked for, but you would have carte blanche and endless money? Would you do? And I'm going to add the caveat: not another Michael Keaton Batman.
Fuck! Don't steal my joy and then just disappear, you damn piece of shit. Like I was gonna say Michael Keaton Batman. God damn it. All right, here. I'll throw a bunch at you. Buckaroo Banzai. Bad News Bears. I've always wanted to do a Bad News Bears sequel, man, where Kelly Leak and fucking Amanda Wolitzer are grown up and they're the fucking Walter Matthau's and they both coach separate fucking teams that got to play each other. Paramount, call me. There's a Bears-averse. I'm telling you right now, a Bad News-averse. What other things have I loved? Fucking Bob and Doug McKenzie. I bring that shit back and keep it going. What else did I love as a child? You know what I always felt like, man, they could have made a lot more of those. Halloween. No, I'm kidding.
Saturday the 14th, Sunday the 15th. There's just all of these calendar movies you could have kept making.
I don't know. I mean, I have gotten very lucky in as much as things I've loved really caught on and fucking now they'll do them to death and shit. But there are some things like the things I just mentioned, which I would totally love to go back into. Buckaroo Banzai is just wide open, man. They only did it once, and it's so crazy imaginative. In my lifetime, somebody's going to fucking get that and run with it and make it work. I was attached to it for like 4 fucking years, 5 years, I think, at 2 separate places, both with money, and it didn't come together. So maybe it's me. But we almost had Keanu Reeves doing it.
I know, so close.
So fucking this could have been like John Wick. I could have been the new John Wick.
You could have been. You were a pubic hair away.
With the guy who made John Wick, really. I could never be John Wick. Fucking somebody fucking like that motherfucker takes a beat and somebody fucking slaps me, I'd cry and count. So I could never be John Wick himself. Let me see. Maurice Suggs in chat said Buck Rogers. I fucking co-signed that. I don't understand how Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon are not Green Hornet, which is another thing I've worked on and stuff, as has Marc. I don't understand how these are not fucking happening again. Here's a big one. Ready? The Shadow, bitch. How the fuck are they not doing The Shadow now? Like, just because they made the Alec Baldwin movie and people felt like it didn't work and shit, there's some good shit in that movie. But The Shadow is a badass fucking character. You don't have to do it in the 20s. Howard Chaykin fucking didn't do it in the 20s. He updated it for his DC Comics run. And that run of the fucking Shadow that followed his run was one of my favorite comic book runs of all fucking time. Shadow's got a network of agents and shit like that. Like Lamont Cranston, the original fucking billionaire, fucking with a dark secret and shit. And he changes his voice. He has the power to cloud men's minds. He's got a fucking ring. Come on, man. All that shit is gold. Do the fucking Shadow. Do it. What about you, Marc?
The one that I'll say, because the other ones would be giving shit away for free, and I don't want to do that. I've been warned against it. But The Last Starfighter seems like it was just built to be a TV show or more movies or whatever. But that idea is so fucking strong. It's so fun. Looking at
you know who really wanted to do that while we were making Zach and Miri Make a Porno? Seth Rogen was pursuing The Last Starfighter because he wanted to do that as a film for the exact same reason. He was like, it is such a great idea. He's like, especially now where video games aren't just kiosks in a fucking arcade. They're viable. People do it all the time and get really fucking good at it and shit. Yeah, that idea plays. Excellent idea.
I remember Gary Whitta, who co-wrote Rogue One, was chasing it. And the problem had always been the rights were difficult. Like Spielberg wanted to do it, Seth wanted to do it, but I think Gary had gotten relatively close to finding the person with the rights and maybe convincing them. But that was a couple of years ago, and I don't know whatever happened with that. But it still is like sort of the nerd holy grail. of like, come on, guys, come on, it's just sitting there.
It is, and video games have only become more fucking popular, so the film is relevant as fuck.
I mean,
we bit that storyline for an episode of the fucking Clerks cartoon where Randall played this game Pharaoh, and he was so good at it, the government came and they're like, this game was always meant to find somebody at your skill level. And like in the game, all he did was break rocks, and then they brought him to this facility where all he did was break rocks and get whipped.
There's a new movie coming out called Gran Turismo, which is based apparently on a true story of this kid who was very good at playing that video game, this car racing video game. So good that he was kind of dubbed and picked by a dude who owned a racing team. It's like, if you're really good at Gran Turismo, I'm going to put you behind the wheel of a real racing car and see how you can do. And apparently he did well. Spoilers, but I think that's the movie. And like that is one step away from The Last Starfighter. It's just like you're going to drive a racing car as opposed to, heading up the whatever, fighting Zura in the Kodan Armada.
Wow, well remembered, man. Great Robert Preston.
Yes.
He was absolutely wonderful. Somebody said, I kept seeing a bunch of this, and I want to give it a shout. Rocketeer. Fucking 100%. 100% I would fucking watch a Rocketeer sequel. And weren't they working on one?
There's an animated show, I think, for Disney Plus that they might have made. Or I don't know. I remember there was David Oyelowo had something to do with it. I think he might have been the mechanic, and they had, I don't know if it was period or not, but yeah, Disney was doing something.
Bamf.
Somebody said in chat, Gran Torino, the Clint Eastwood movie.
Yes. The video game of just hate speech. Like, but that guy.
Bamf man, what's up?
I was going to say Last Starfighter, but also there's a video game called Wing Commander that they did a movie of back in like 1999 or
Mark
something.
Hamill was in it.
Yeah, I think Wing Commander could be a good one. And also somebody in chat said The Wizard, which was a Fred Savage kind of like road trip video game movie, where I feel like there's a world where you could do a road trip movie about a guy and his brother and the hijinks of getting from the East Coast to the West Coast for the video game championship of something or other.
Bonanista said Homestar Runner, and that just made me fucking like remember Strong Bad. Remember Strong Bad writing all those letters and shit? A lot of love for the Thundercats. James B. Smith says Dick Tracy when Warren Beatty dies. I guess Warren Beatty has that locked up.
He's got it locked up, and I think he does the thing where like every couple of years he's got to shoot a thing as Dick Tracy in order to keep the rights. Like you have to be in quote unquote production on something. And so I think he's made like short films as Dick Tracy that he doesn't show anybody.
Is that right?
I think so.
At least that shit. Why is he holding on to it? Like Dick Tracy would be kind of badass, man. Modern day Dick Tracy.
Like last year or 2 years ago, he did a Zoom that he broadcast as Dick Tracy, and that was what he like. That's how he got to maintain the rights. He did a Zoom QA as Dick Tracy.
Why is he holding on to these rights?
No idea. And I don't know who wants more Dick Tracy except for maybe Warren Beatty. I just don't.
Dick Tracy has the original Rogues Gallery, man.
Yeah, but so?
Fucking flat top, face.
I got this two-way watch. That's not as good as my phone.
Big boy Caprice. He's got an Apple Watch before anybody had one.
Bluechew might want a new Dick Tracy movie.
Oh.
There you go. Well
It'd
done,
be a different type of movie, but yeah.
Fucking shout out to Bluechew.com, the sponsor for the back half of the show. And the back half of the show is over, kids. That's all we got for you, man. Don't forget, you got to come see us live in Hollywood at the Scum Villainy Cantina, right on Hollywood Boulevard. Tickets at a very long address that I can't remember. Is that Eventbrite? Just go Fat Man.
C-Smod as well now. It's up
Oh,
on
is it good?
CSMOD
Go to
as well.
csmod.com. I remember that.
There it
And
is.
buy tickets, man. So, and you better buy them now because everyone's always like, why don't you do the show at the cantina anymore? Sell us out, fuckers, and we will.
We sold out in about 4 days, the last show. So people should get on it now.
Yeah. That was show 400. So people were like, ooh, a reason to celebrate. This is just a show, but they should still fucking buy all those tickets, man. You know how many tickets sells us out? Tell them, Banff, man, come on in.
75.
That's it. 75 fucking tickets here in fucking Los Angeles and Hollywood. You can come on in. You don't even have to be from Hollywood. You can come in from fucking Burbank,
El
fucking
Segundo.
Thousand Oaks, fucking
Santa Clarita, if you want to push it.
Malibu, the Boo, if you will, Calabasas,
Beverly Hills.
there, fuck Beverly Hills. You could just you could come see us. You can come in from New Jersey. I'd support that. I mean, I won't financially support it, but I'd fucking shout you out, put you up on the wall, fucking put a camera on you,
Pat you down.
I feel you up. Like, you got a gun on you because you come from New Jersey. Whenever we're at Smodcastle, we're always like, who came from where? So many people come from really fucking far, man. So don't be shy. If you've ever watched Fat Man Beyond and you're like, that looks like a good time, make a trip. My God. Like after the show's over, you just hang out at fucking the Scum and Villainy Cantina. They sell blue milk. They got hater tots or tater tots. Don't you make food there, Banff man?
We got food. We got lots of good food.
You forgot your fucking trademark code word.
Banff.
There you go.
He's come from really far away. It was a time delay.
He must have come from El Segundo. And then if you're like, what the fuck? I'm on the East Coast. I can't get to that show. Well, we thought of you. August 25th, come see Fat Man Beyond at Smodcastle Cinemas. Tickets at smodcastlecinemas.com. And I'm telling you right now, for a show that takes place in August, it's June 7th. That show's on August 25th. It's already over half fucking sold.
Fuck yeah, it is.
That's right. There's like maybe 100 tickets left. So don't sleep on it. Get your
Regret
tickets
it.
today. Don't forget, I'm going to be back in Jersey June 15th, 16th, 17th. Come watch The Flash with me. Hear me fucking scream every time Michael Keaton comes on screen in that fucking outfit, even when he's not in the outfit. I'm telling you right now, I've had a good life. And I've lived through a fucking heart attack and I lived through fucking a mental health crisis. And if in the story of my life, the third act, the thing that brings it all together in when they make the movie about my life is going to be me in the theater watching Michael Keaton be Batman again. So don't you want to be a part of my movie? Like you fucking, I was there. Like that legit happened. His life was so empty that fucking seeing Michael Keaton play Batman again, that's his third act.
Yeah. And Kevin wept.
Yes. It's all I've ever wanted in life is to see this guy fucking play Batman one more time. So be there in the room with me while I'll be honest with you. I'm going to see it at the premiere.
Oh, are you now?
Yeah, I got tickets, man. I was like, I asked my publicist, I was like, what am I doing wrong? Fucking blow this fucking movie for a year straight on our TV show. And fucking, I ain't got any tickets. JB's got tickets to the fucking premiere and they didn't call me. And he's like, they emailed you. And I was like, oh, well, I don't check my email. I said. Yeah. So yeah, the good folks at Warner Brothers invited me to, or Ben did. Somebody invited me to the premiere. It's June 12th, which is also Jay Muse's birthday. And it's at the Chinese Theater, literally right down the street, where I have my handprints and my footprints in the cement. So I'm going to fucking go look at my handprints and the footprints in the cement and walk in and watch fucking Michael Keaton be Batman again. And I'm telling you, if that ain't the fucking last shot of my fucking, the movie of my life, I don't know what is.
Fableman style, just Kevin looking up at Michael Keaton, and then the camera just tilts.
No, that ain't it, Mark, because we need him to go to the show at fucking Smodcastle. That's where the movie ends. You got to come either June 15th, 16th, and 17th. The third act of my movie is unnaturally fucking long. So come watch The Flash with me. Watch with Kev, The Flash, June 15th, 16th, 17th. And then June 19th, Juneteenth, if you will, watch me and Marc Bernardin talk about The Flash.
Yes.
Batman Beyond. Watch it live at the Scum and Villainy Cantina. Hey, man, can I tell you something else? You know what I got a copy of?
Huh.
Batman Forever, the fucking Schumacher cut.
Ooh.
That's right. So guess what I'm going to do? I probably shouldn't be talking about this. Warner Brothers is going to take my ticket away. But I'm going to slip you a fucking copy so you and me can talk about it on that June 19th show. So first we'll talk about Flash. Then we can review the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever. I've watched it. It's longer.
There's more of it.
There's lots more. You know how the movie starts with fucking,
I don't remember.
You don't remember? It starts with Two-Face, fucking busting into the bank and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
That don't happen for like 15 minutes in the original cut. It's crazy. It's a crazy good copy too, man. Off an Avid. It's got like temp score and everything. So on the June 19th show, we're going to be talking about it.
Excellent.
You might even show a fucking clip, not online because we'll get thrown off.
Don't get crazy.
In the room at Scum and Villainy Cantina. Maybe we do the show and then afterwards, I don't know, maybe it winds up, maybe you wind up seeing what we talked about after the fucking show. In the room when it happens, my friends.
Like the man said. Just like Ronnie said, be my little baby.
That's right. Well done. All right, kids. There's your Fat Man Beyond for tonight. It's now fucking 6:53 on the West Coast. JC's got to go fucking ask trivia questions at the Scum and Villainy Cantina. We thank JC for bringing us to you. Banff man himself right there, thin as fuck. Somebody got to look into it. Motherfucker won't eat anymore and shit. She's trying to get all fit so he can go on a Galactic Starcruiser. Yeah. Guys.
Am I fighting weight?
Crazy. He's going to be Bluechewing it. All right. We thank the good folks at Bluechew.com for sponsoring the show. We thank the good folks at Native for sponsoring the show. We thank you for tuning into the fucking show. And we thank the great, God damn it. Yeah. The great Marc Bernardin for coming in, man, and fucking doing the show. As per usual, I was like, Marc, I saw a thing and it made me come and I love it. And it's the best thing that happened. And Marc was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I appreciate your joy.
There it is, kids. Fucking, you wanted to go beyond Fat Man. We did. We went Fat Man Beyond.
We did.
That's Fat Man Beyond for this week, man. Tune in for Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernard.
Tune in next time. Same fat time, same fat channel. Smodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Jeff's kiss, everybody. This is from the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,